Hello and a very good morning. Welcome to Shop on TV. I'm Hayley Green.
And I'm Sean Crawley.
And you've joined us for, I think, a really important show, because I don't think we realise how important it is to write a will.
And you've probably thought about writing a will and you might not have got round to it.
Or you might have told all the family.
Yeah.
And they know what I want. If when I pass, they know, who wants, who I've told everybody what they're getting. But sadly, if you pass without a legal will, automatically falls in place what they call the government will. And sadly, if you haven't written your own will, there's one already written for you, and it is definitely not what you would want.
Here at Shop on TV, we work directly with a company called Simpler Law, who are experts in the field, and we've got some fabulous offers available for you, whether it's wills or whether it's lasting powers of attorney. Both are available on the show with us tonight. In fact, we should show you those deals straight away.
Now, they are extra special. You've got an extra 10% off. It's only until the close of business on Friday. So you can see here, if you have thought about doing a will, I know when we thought about doing a will, we thought it would be thousands of pounds. Regular price, great, at £249. We've got a special price with Shop on TV at £99, but you have, up until close of business on Friday, you have got an extra 10% off, so £89 is your price tonight. And you can split that cost with 4 payments, £22.25. And if you think about how much you spend on a coffee, perhaps a week, and then actually relate it to what you're actually doing with that money, writing a will, making sure what you've worked so hard for actually goes to the people you want it to go to.
Now, we've also got a fabulous offer on lasting powers of attorney. If you have heard of the term but you're not sure what it means, we'll explain it as we go throughout the show. Lasting powers of attorney, suggested retail price of £349. Well, our offer price should have been £199, but we've got an extra discount, an extra 10% off, so it comes down to £179. And with the 4 interest-free payments that Simpler Law offers, it's just £44.75 on your first of 4 interest-free payments.
And then what we've also done, because I think a lot of us probably haven't done either, and when you watch the show, you'll discover how important it is to have both. We've got a really amazing offer on the will and lasting power of attorney. Should be virtually £600. You can see an amazing saving with Shop on TV down to £269, but actually you've got another 10% off, so your actual price £242. And again, you can split that cost over those 4 payments. And if you think about what you spend on a takeaway, that's 4 payments of £60 and 50 pence. And those are 2 vital things. I think we just don't realise how important it is to make sure we've done this legally. Now, you have got the opportunity as well. If you're the first of 250 clients, you will get a fabulous free book. And this is a book that I did originally say when we discovered this book, you should have it from birth, but it's probably a little bit early. But from working years, so important, because what do you know about perhaps your mum and dad, what jobs they had in the past and what pensions they should have, or where, important emails or information or passwords for their tablets or for their phones. This actually includes so much vital information which you will fill in, so your family have that peace of mind. They've got that information right there.
All in one place, isn't it? Like you say, pensions, but things like home security, passwords for tablets, what you want to happen to your pets and your animals, all in that one place, so that you know exactly what your loved one's wishes were. First 250 people will get that book. However, you've got to get in touch before the close of business on Friday. And all you're
doing today is securing the deal.
Yep.
So you're securing the deal. You've got your opportunity to get that book as well, but you need to do it right now before the close of business on Friday. So best to do it now, and it's so easy to do in so many different ways, whatever you'd rather do. Whether you would rather speak to somebody, have a little look at all the ways to get in touch, because you can simply go onto the internet and go simplerlaw.co.uk/Shop on TV, and that's one of the simplest ways to do it. However, we've got the teams on the phone.
Yeah, they're there right through till the end of the show. You can call right now, 0333 600 2600, or the other way is to text And the text service is always so popular on
It's
these
so
shows.
simple, isn't it? You've always got your phone right there. It's probably in your hand right now. All you need to do to secure the prices, to be one of the ones to get the opportunity to get that fabulous book as well, is text will. That's it. And you've secured the deal. And you might think at the minute you only want the will, but actually then you might decide, well, actually, I'd like the lasting power of attorney as well. As long as you secure the deals tonight in one way or another, so text will to 66777, you know you've secured all those prices. And you can go, if you'd like, via our website as well. If you're used to shopping with us on Shop on TV, all you need to do is scroll down to about the middle of the page.
Yeah, and there you'll see the Simpler Law logo. You click on the logo and it takes you directly through to those extra special offers that we've got for you. You simply fill in that form, name, address, you can see phone, email, and just a couple of questions. And as Hayley said, if you do change your mind and you want to go for will and lasting power of attorney, you've secured the offers by filling in that form.
Remember, you've got an extra 10% off. It's only till the close of business on Friday. And you'll have that peace of mind that what you want to happen with what you've worked so hard for actually will happen. Because if you haven't written a will, it honestly won't. The government will, I don't think will work for anyone. Wouldn't work for us because we're not married. Doesn't even work if you are married with children from different families. But stay with us. We'll explain loads more during the whole of the show. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a moment. Hello and a very good morning. Welcome to Shop on TV. I'm Hayley.
And I'm Sean.
Together we're doing a fabulous show, which I really do think is going to perhaps make a big difference to how you feel, a weight off your shoulders. Because I think something we mean to do, and we know we should do, is write a will. But I don't think we really understand how important writing a will is, because I think you think if you've told the family what you want to happen, that is going to happen. But that's not the case.
It's not the case unless you've got a legally binding will from, well, we're going to be offering legally binding wills from experts in the field working alongside Simpler Law on today's show. It's so important to have a will because you want your wishes to be passed on, don't you?
And sadly, if you haven't got a legally binding will, you actually have got a will. And I think that's what we didn't realise. And there's a government will. And that government will automatically fall into place if you haven't written your own. So even if all your family members know exactly what you wanted to happen with everything that you own and possess, that is not going to happen. For Sean and myself, we've been together 34 years, but we're not married. So it wouldn't have worked, the government will, for us at all. However, even if you are married, it gets more complicated if you have children from different relationships. I don't think the government will is right. There can't be one will for everybody, but sadly there is if you haven't written your own.
And there may have been a couple of things that put you off writing a will. It might have been the thought of the cost.
Yeah, we thought it'd be really expensive.
Fantastic. It might be that you just haven't got round to it. Working directly with Simpler Law, we're bringing you experts in the field. We're going to talk in full depth of how easy it is to do, but the deals that we've got tonight, not only for wills, but also for lasting powers of attorney. So we'll run you through those deals quickly, and then we'll tell you how easy it is to get in touch. So we'll start off with the costs for a will. The suggested retail price, to be honest, with Simpler Law is a great price, £249. Our offer price should have been just under £199, but Simpler Law are offering an extra 10% discount. So the price comes down to £89. We're also offering 4 interest-free payments, so just £22.25 on your first of 4 interest-free payments.
And if you relate that to how much you spend on coffee, even probably in a week, honestly, that is money so well spent. You've got such an incredible deal to make sure what you've worked so hard for is actually, you know, what you want to happen with that, it's actually going to happen. You've then got the lasting power of attorney. Now, you might have heard of that, not really sure what the lasting power of attorney is. Stay with us. We will explain again just how important this is. You've got a great price again on that. Should be £349. Our regular Shop on TV price is £199, but you have got that extra 10% off. Only till the close of business, though, on Friday. It is a time limited offer, so £179, which you can split over 4 payments. So £44.75 is the first of those 4 payments. And don't forget, all you're doing today is actually securing these prices when you get in contact. But you might decide, and you might even decide during the show, though you've phoned and secured the deal for the will. Well, actually, I'd like the will and lasting power of attorney. Now I understand how important that is. We've got a great deal on that as well.
Yeah, if you go for the combination, it should be almost £600. It's down, well, on the regular offer to 269, but with that extra discount, an extra 10% off, it comes down to £242 for both the will and the lasting power of attorney. Use those 4 interest-free payments, only £60.50 on your first of 4 interest-free payments there. And the bonus that we've also got for you, remember, as Hayley said, time-limited offer until the close of business Friday, but the first 250 people will get this book that you see here. This is what my family should know, and you can record so many details in here.
Yeah, now this book often does go, so it is the first people to get in contact, and this is that vital information that your family need to find. Usually you're looking in boxes trying to find letters, but life is different now. So this is really important information. Even things like passwords for phones and for tablets. It may be a really important email or actually photographs that you don't want to lose. But it might be pensions. I mean, do you know how many jobs your mum or dad had and how many pensions they might have? And all those things can get lost if you don't know that they should, belong to you. So that holds all that vital information. And I think I say that you should have it from birth, but that's far too early. But as soon as you start working, I think you should write all those things down. So people have got an idea of actually what you have.
And it's all in that one place. It's so easy to get in touch with us. There's lots of different ways. So we'll show you all those different ways to get in touch. And we start by going directly to Simpler Law, if you so wish. simplerlaw.co.uk/shop on TV to make sure you get those exclusive offers that we've got for you.
Well, we have got the amazing team from Simpler Law on the phones ready and waiting. Perhaps you've got a couple of questions. They can answer a couple of questions, but you are ringing just to secure the deal. You don't need any information tonight, just to know that you want to write a will, you want a lasting power of attorney, but you want to secure those prices. So jump on the phone, which is 0333 600 2600. But one of the most popular ways, and I love this because I bet your phone is right by you, it's in the palm of your hand. It's so easy just to secure the prices by texting the word will.
Yes.
To 66777, and that's the most popular.
That'll go directly to the team. They'll give you a call back. Not too early, don't worry. If you're up with us late watching the show, you'll get a call back from the team and you've secured the offers. And again, like Hayley said, if you change your mind, you want to go for a will and a lasting power of attorney, you will have secured those deals.
You've secured every single deal. Now, you might shop normally with us on shopontv.co.uk. You can go via our website as well if you wish, and that then is going onto our first page, scrolling down towards the middle, and then you'll see our partners and you'll see, of course, Simpler Law there. So click onto that. That'll take you straight through, giving you the idea of the prices, the deals, the extra 10% off. Remember, this is only up until close of business on Friday, and then a really easy form to fill in. No tricky questions there. So really simple for you to get in contact with us in any way, whether it's phones, whether it's website, or whether it's just texting that word will. So whichever way you want to do it, will to 66777 is one of the easiest ways. But please stay with us, because we didn't realise at all how important a will was. And the nice thing is we know of Simpler Law prior to them working with us here on Shop on TV, because we did Mum's lasting power of attorney with them. And it's a really lovely company to get in contact with, because they make everything so simple.
You don't have to be afraid of anything.
You don't need to know anything, really.
And when you go through to make contact, you don't need any forms, you don't need anything with you. It's simply making that first contact, taking that first step, which is so, so important. We're not alone, as we say. Joining us from Simpler Law, Charlotte and Emma are with us tonight. Lovely to have your company, both of you.
Thank you.
I think we should start straight away by, when we talk about wills, it's so important, Charlotte, for everyone to have a will, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I think, as you mentioned earlier on, Hayley, that without realising it, everyone does have a will, and it's actually called the Rules of Intestacy, but we call it the government will.
Yeah.
But that isn't going to work for every scenario. In fact, we've never actually written a will that's followed the rules of intestacy. Exactly right.
Because we've got a slide that we can put on screen, and it's literally a case of yes/no questions, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not personalised at all. So the whole point of writing your own will is that you've got the choice to do what you want to do with your estate. You've worked hard your whole life.
Absolutely.
It should go where you want it to go. it's not even just about necessarily where it is going, but we'll go through that later
And
in the
when
show.
you follow this chart, this is, you know, you hear those stories, and then it was a distant cousin that lived in Australia that got all their money. How did that happen? Well, it's down to that government will. Because, I mean, we fail straight away because we're not actually married. So it's not going to work for us at all, is
Not
it?
at all. There's no provision for partners whatsoever. The first question is simply, are you married or in a civil partnership? Yes or no. It's as simple as that. And if you're not, it simply moves on to the next question. It follows it that way. So if you haven't got children, if you haven't got parents, siblings that are remaining, eventually, worst case, it could even go to the Crown. So,
I don't.
Yeah.
Everything you've worked so hard for.
Exactly right.
But even if you are married, it's still complicated, especially if you've got children from different relationships.
Yes, society is very different now. So, you know, we used to see the traditional husband, wife, 2 children, and that's why this is in place. But now we have a lot of merged families that, you know, see each other as a family unit.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. They're not stepsisters or stepbrothers.
No.
They're sisters and brothers, aren't
Exactly right, yeah. So you could have Mr. and Mrs. Smith, for example, and Mr's got 2 children from a previous relationship, and Mrs. has got 2 children from a previous relationship. But unfortunately, with the rules of intestacy, it isn't as simple as protecting that whole family. So, excuse my finger puppets. If we've got Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Mr. passes first, in an ideal world, it all goes to Mrs. Smith, but actually it's only the first 322,000
Wow.
passes in the
I don't
first
think
place.
people would know that.
People don't actually realise that in the first instance, so it's not necessarily all going to go to
And that's
your
including your
spouse.
cost of your house, and because that money adds up so quickly, doesn't it, without you
Massively.
realising you've got that much.
Yeah, a lot of clients we speak to, and you actually sit them down and say, right, you've got your house, you've got your car, and
Add it all up.
Add it all up. It actually is surprising what your estate can be worth. But yeah, so unfortunately, Mr. Smith's passed away, and let's just say that everything's gone to Mrs. Smith on first death. Now, with the rules of intestacy, the second question, if you haven't got a spouse, is do you have children, yes or no? Now, that is only bloodline children. So once Mrs. Smith has passed away, she might think she's catered for all 4 children that she sees as hers because they're a family unit. But unfortunately, everything is then only going to go to Mrs. Smith's 2 children. So Mr. Smith's 2 children are actually completely disinherited. So we actually call it sideways disinheritance because it's passing down another bloodline.
And that's why you have to write it
There's not been
down.
provision for, and it's as simple as picking up the phone today, making a will, and that family could have been protected. We see this so often that families get torn apart.
I was just going to say there must be so many family breakups because of situations like that.
Yeah, and
Which
as
you'd
awful as
kick
it
yourself if
sounds-
you were looking down. I mean, I don't know what happens, but if you're looking down and you think, why didn't I write the will? That your whole family's falling out. You'd told them what you wanted, so you thought that was all right. But it's not, because that government will fall in place. It's so important to write a will, and it's so affordable tonight as well. And we will go into more detail, but if you have switched on and you heard us mention lasting power of attorney, we'll just talk through it briefly, because that is something really important as well.
I think a lot of people have heard of lasting power of attorney but aren't quite sure what it means. So Emma, for anyone who's heard of it, lasting power of attorney, what does it mean? What is it?
So there's basically 2 documents to these. So you've got your property and affairs, and you've got your health and welfare. So these are basically documents that you would put in place. So if you was to lose capacity, for instance, then you as a donor, is what it's called on the paperwork, you are given the person of your choice, so that's classed as the attorney, the power to step into your shoes and make decisions as you would if you had capacity.
So it's like they become you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And even though you think you can do it, don't you? I would have thought if my mum was poorly and couldn't look after herself, that I could instantly step into her shoes and take control of everything.
Yeah.
But I can't. And when you think about it, I couldn't now when she's well. I couldn't go into her bank and deal with her money and things, could I?
Absolutely not. No. I mean, this is a misconception about it. You think, you know, like with my husband, I couldn't go into the bank while he's got capacity and say, I want to draw some money out of his account. They would just say, well, no, you're not him.
Yeah.
So why do we think that when they've lost capacity...
Well, it's that first thing when you call someone and they say, are you the account holder?
Yes.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And as soon as you say no, you can't go any further.
No, and it's such... You've got to go through so many loopholes anyway, passwords and stuff, but you're not going to know all that, are you?
And so there's the 2. There's
There
the
is.
finance, which is what we came to you originally for mum.
Yeah.
and we'll run through what that actually includes. So property and affairs. So we're talking sort of the money side of things. So these sort of things we can actually take control over.
Oh, absolutely. So you can then sort of claim your pensions, you know, allowances, anything like that. You can open and close bank accounts. You can even do things such with a mortgage, you know, if you were in the middle of selling or buying, you know, anything like that.
Or you might need to sell, might you, to look after them in a home or something. And that would be out of your control.
It would be out of your control, absolutely.
And we originally came for the property and affairs, but then when you told us about the health lasting power of attorney, to me, I was like, Mum, we've got to do that as well because it's just as important.
Oh, absolutely. It's a really emotional, you know, sort of document, that one. So this is where you can decide, you know, what medical treatment they're going to receive, you know, what homes, where they're going to live, basically, even down to things like medication, what they receive, and, you know, things. Anything.
We always talk about your friend who's a vegetarian.
Yeah.
The fact if you've lost capacity, they don't know that.
Absolutely.
The wrong person's looking after
And even
you.
down to that she likes her nails polished and she, you know, she likes to wear lipstick and the clothes that she likes to wear, the music she likes to listen to, really important things to her. Yeah. But if some people don't know that, you can't control that.
Even things like going on a family holiday.
Yeah.
You think you'd be able to take, you know, your loved one on a family holiday still, but you wouldn't be able to.
Without a power of attorney.
Without a power of
And we will go more into detail in powers of attorney as we go throughout the show.
And you have got the option either to do that on its own or you can interlink it in
with the will.
With the will as well. So, but we will go into a lot more detail throughout the show on both of those matters.
But we'll go back to wills for you because I think, well, Charlotte, again, we go back to everybody needs a will, don't
Yeah,
they?
everybody needs a will. As we've said previously, if you haven't actually written your own will, there's a will already in place for you, but it's not going to do what you want it to achieve. You've worked hard your whole life, you know, you want to protect your family. By actually putting a will in place, you know that it's going to be your choice, going to be your wishes that are carried out. It's the last thing you can do.
Yeah.
Really.
And there's so many things you can do with a will as well. I think lots of people think it's just, I need lots of money to have a will, but that's not the case, is it?
No, not at all. People assume a will is just distributions, which is where you want things to go. But actually, it can also be where you don't want things to go.
Yes.
Right.
So, you know, unfortunately, there are family breakdowns. You might have a child that you know, you don't have a relationship with anymore, that you don't want to inherit from your estate, and the other child that you do want to inherit. You can put that in your will.
And I see here on the screen that choosing ages, I think that's really important.
Yes,
children massively.
yes.
Yeah, we've all been 18.
Yeah,
you know, so giving a lump sum.
Automatically, you would get money at 18, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so legally, children inherit at the age of 18. So
which is far too young, isn't it?
massively, yeah. And, you know, you've given that lump sum of money. You might actually want your child to use that towards a property or, you know, towards something specific. So a lot of our clients actually usually go between 21 and 23.
Right.
So it's actually that little bit higher. You can even go higher than that. Again, it's your choice. It's your document.
That's what I love when you
know
say
your
that.
children.
It's your choice.
Absolutely. And without putting that will in place, you lose all control.
And your children might be your pets, so you can even say what you want to have.
Actually, pets are more so than children. We have a lot of clients that will go, the children are done now. Now let's go to the dog.
The important stuff.
The really important stuff. And that is the thing, I just don't think you realise how important a will is, how many things you can put into a will, you know, and then you know that is going to happen because it's legally binding. Because sadly, though you'll think, well, I've told the family, they know what I want. If you haven't legally written a will, please don't forget there is a will out there for you, and it's the government will. And it doesn't work for anybody.
It might be the fact that you just haven't got round to writing a will. You've thought about it a few times and you've never got round to actually taking that first step. Well, this is what today's show is all about. Taking that first step to write your will, but at such an affordable price.
Yeah, such peace of mind as well once you've done it. But price-wise, you can't beat, I think, our prices. We've got 10% off our normal prices, but only up to close of business on Friday, and we will go back through the prices, how to get in touch. All you do tonight actually is secure the deal.
Yeah.
Don't need any information. You just need to know in your head you need to write that will. We put things off, don't we? It'll be next year before you know it. Next year might be too late. So stay with us. We're going to explain a lot more throughout the rest of the show.
And we'll be right back right after this, so don't go anywhere.
Hello and a very good morning. Welcome to Shop on TV. I'm Hayley.
And I'm Sean.
We've got a great show tonight, this morning, a show that I think might give you that real peace of mind. Perhaps something you've been thinking, oh, I must do, but you keep putting off. Perhaps something you've not really thought about because, well, I've told all the kids what I want to happen when I've passed. They know who's going to have the clock and the ring and where, you know, how the money's going to be split. It's all about wills and lasting powers of attorney, actually. But I don't think we realise that if we haven't written a legally binding will, that there actually is a will out there that's already written for you.
Yeah, the powers of the government will, I should say, is in place. If you don't have a legal will written down, it goes to this standard yes-no questions. The rules of intestacy is what it's called.
There can't be one will that's right for absolutely everybody, but there is. If you haven't written a legally binding will, that will fall in place. Even if you've told everybody what you want to happen, it's not going to happen because legally it has to go to the government will. So important to write your own will. And we've got some amazing deals tonight, allowing you to do it so affordably.
Exclusive offers on wills and lasting powers of attorney, working directly with Simpler Law, who are experts in the field. It's all they do is estate planning. So let's show you the deals that are on offer for you right now, and then we'll run you through how easy it is to get in touch. If you've been thinking about writing a will and you've been put off because you're thinking it's going to be hundreds and hundreds of pounds.
That was us. We thought it'd be really expensive, so we never really bothered looking. Well, actually, at £249, the regular price is worth every single penny. To know what you've worked so hard for is actually going to happen. But we always have a great price for you. It goes down to £99 with Shop on TV, but you've got an extra 10% off. And only up until close of business on Friday, so it is a time-limited offer. And you've actually got that at £89. And then you can split that cost with 4 payments, and the first one being £22.25, making it so affordable to make sure what you want to happen truly does happen, because sadly it just won't unless you've got a legally binding will.
Now we are going to talk about lasting power of attorney. If you've heard the term but you're not quite sure what it is, we'll explain exactly what lasting power of attorney is for you. There's a very special price there on lasting powers of attorney. Should be £349. The offer price was going to be just under £200 at £199, but with that extra 10% off it comes down to £179, and with those 4 interest-free payments, £44.75 on your first of 4 payments there. But the best offer of all is if you want to go for both of those.
Absolutely. The will and lasting power of attorney should be, well, virtually £600, £598. Our regular price you can see there at £269, but then you've got that extra 10% off, so £242 for the will and lasting power of attorney. And you again can split that cost with 4 payments of £60.50. And if you think about what you spend on a takeaway, that's your will and lasting power of attorney done. And that's so important both. If you decide tonight, well, no, I'm going to do the will, but then as you watch the show, think, oh gosh, I wish I'd said when I spoke to somebody or when I signed up that I wanted the lasting power of attorney as well. As long as you get in contact before the close of business on Friday, so do it now, otherwise you'll forget, you will have secured all of those deals. So if you decide, well, actually, I'll do both, you can. That price will be there. Now, at the bottom there, you can see that the first 250 clients, and these books do go, always, they disappear. You've got the opportunity to get a book. It's worth £25, but I would think it's worth so much more to your family when you've gone. This has got vital information.
This is where you record all your information so that if you do pass, it's all in one place. And it's not just about bank accounts and saving accounts and pensions. Obviously, they're in there as well. But it's about things that you might not think about, like all the life policies that are in place, all your passwords for things like your computer, your laptop, your phone.
Because so much now, you're looking through boxes looking for letters, but actually those letters are on emails. It might be a really important email you need to get hold of. Or it might be photographs that you know are only on mum or dad's phone and you can't get on that phone to find them. All this information you actually pop into your book and it's right there. And honestly, that peace of mind for your family that are already really upset, it just makes life so easy. And the first 250 clients that secure the deal this evening will actually get that book as well, which is so, so important. Don't forget, if you are normally shopping with us via our website, you can do exactly that. And by shopping on our website, what you'll find is you can scroll down to the contact details, the middle of the page, and you can actually then so easily click onto our partners, and you can actually go through that way. Or you can jump onto the phones, you can jump onto text.
Yeah, really simple to get in touch,
website.
as you can see right there, all the contact details. So go directly to simplerlaw.co.uk/shop on TV. That's direct to those exclusive offers that we've just shown you. You can go to the phones, and the team there are right through till the end of the show. Remember, time limited, only until the close of business on Friday. So 0333 600 2600.
And the team are there, which is fantastic. They're waiting. If you've got a couple of questions, you can ask those questions. But really, it is just to secure the prices, and they'll get back in touch with you, later on, probably today, and just to sort out a time that's right for you to actually sit down and really talk about everything. But one of the easiest, and it truly is the easiest way, is by texting. And it's texting the word will. And that's all you need to do to 66777.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to fill any forms in. It's that simple. Text will to 66777. You've secured all those prices. And again, the team will get back in touch later on today. They know you've been up late with us this morning, so they'll get in touch later on today, again, to sort out a time that's convenient for you. Even if perhaps you're going away for a 2-week holiday, fine. That's, you can sort out a time that is convenient. What you're doing is securing the deal and the extra 10% off.
If you go to our website, shopontv.co.uk, you'll scroll down the homepage, and when you scroll down there, you'll see our partners who we work alongside. The Simpler Law logo is just there. Click on the logo and it takes you through to those exclusive offers that we've just been talking about.
And it even reminds you of the phone number and how to text as well. It's all there, so you can't go wrong. The only way you can go wrong really is not to get in contact, because I think that's what we're so good at, is not taking that first step. My mum's patio needed doing for about 8 years, and it was it wasn't that we couldn't afford to have it done. It's not that we didn't want it done. We just didn't take that first step to ring someone to come out and give us a price. So it's that first step, and it's that peace of mind, that weight off your shoulders, knowing you've actually written that will. Because do stay with us. It's so, so important. And do stay with us to learn about lasting powers of attorney as well, because I don't think we realise how important they are as well.
The other thing to know is that you don't need any documents. You don't need anything with you.
You don't really need to know anything, do you?
You're just getting in touch, securing those offers.
Even if you think, well, I don't really know what I want, what have I got? That when you sit down, it's just like a little conversation like we're going to have this morning. And virtually the team from Simpler Law, they ask the right questions to get the answers from you. So you don't need to know anything apart from you need a will, you want to write a will, or you want to get that lasting power of attorney in place. But we have got 2 fabulous guests to meet.
Yeah, the team are with us from Simpler Law. Charlotte and Emma join us once again. Lovely to have you with us.
Great to be here. Thank
they're
you.
so busy, these shows. I think a lot of people, just as we say, don't get round to it. So Charlotte, for anyone at home who's thinking, do I need a will? Everyone needs a will, don't they?
Everybody needs a will, absolutely. Because what a lot of people won't realise is they actually do already have a will, which you've already said, Hayley, but it's not going to achieve what they want it to achieve. We work hard our whole lives. What we do have, whether it is property, whether it is heirlooms, whatever it may be, it should be your choice as to where that goes.
Where it goes.
Absolutely, but without having and writing your own legal document, there is actually what's called the government will. So the rules of intestacy, which is there in place for everybody, which isn't going to achieve what anyone wants it to.
And this is what you're talking about. It's just a series of yes/no questions, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not personal at all. No. So it's just yes or no questions. The first question is simply, are you married or in a civil partnership?
So we've
yes or no.
failed already because we're not married and we're not in a civil partnership.
It makes no provision for partners.
So even though we've been together for 34 years, the government will doesn't care about that.
No, exactly right. And that's important to you too. And a lot of people will sit there thinking, well, everyone knows this. Everyone knows that we've been together and that we want it to go to each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's that misconception that it's just automatic.
Well, we said to you the first time we worked together, we thought common law husband
yeah,
and
she
wife.
hear that a lot.
I heard someone mention that just the other
That's
day,
not
and
a thing, though, is
it's
it?
not a thing, is
No,
it?
it's not. I think it's that hope, I think, that people just like
Yeah,
to hope
it'll
it's
be
gonna
okay.
happen, it'll be all right. I don't really want to think about it. But without putting that document in place, you haven't made any provision for these people that you love, that you've made a life with. So it's really, really important.
Because in your head, you think, well, everybody knows we've been together all these years. What's mine is Sean's, what Sean is mine. But sadly, that government will ignore all of that. You might be married with children. You might have told them exactly what you want to happen. Again, sadly, that's not legally binding. The government will fall in place. And I think this is when families possibly fall out in situations like this, because they know what their mum or dad wanted, and it's just not happening, is it?
No, society is very different now. So, you know, this rules of intestacy, it's 25 years this wait. Yeah.
No, it's 100.
100 years this year. I was thinking 25, 1925.
So it's 100 years old. What we just looked at is 100 years old.
Exactly, and society was so different back then. So you would have seen the standard married couple.
So everybody would have been
children.
married, probably would have had children, and it would make a little bit of sense.
Yeah, and there has to be something.
Yeah,
to fall back on at the end of the day, but it's not going to work because, you know, society now is very different.
So different.
We see a lot of couples that have merged families. They might have children from previous relationships. They might be on their second, their third marriage. So by putting your will in place, you're preventing any of this family fallout from happening, especially when there's merged families.
Yeah, because what happens, because a lot of you might be thinking, well, we are married, so it's going to be fine, but it's not as simple as that, especially if you have got children from previous relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we've got the standard Mr. and Mrs. Smith, for example, and they've got 2 children from previous relationships, on first death, if you haven't got a will in place, let's assume for a minute that everything goes to Mrs. Smith if Mr. Smith has passed, because unfortunately that isn't actually always the case when you're married anyway. But we'll go into that. So Mr. Smith has passed away, it's all gone to Mrs. Smith. Now, in this scenario, Mrs. Smith sees all 4 children as hers because she's raised them, they've all been brought up together. But if you've not got a will in place, rules of intestacy, first question is, are you married or in a civil partnership? Well, no, it's only Mrs. Smith now. So second question is, do you have children? But that is bloodline children. So for Mrs. Smith, when she passes away, that passes down her bloodline to her 2 biological children only.
And not to
and completely bypasses Mr. Smith's 2 biological children. So in this scenario, 2 children out of the 4 have inherited this whole estate. Gosh. And, you know, you could speak to a lot of people and go, well, you know, my children are really close, they'll look after each other. And we'd love to think that would happen. But unfortunately, when there is things like money involved, it's a lot of pressure to put on family at a time that's already really difficult when you've already lost a parent.
Absolutely.
To then have to arrange
Emotions
their estate.
are so high, and then...
Absolutely, when all it would have taken was to pick up the phone, spend half an hour writing a will, and you've got that in place to protect your whole family. But this rules of intestacy can break families like that apart because you haven't made that provision for stepchildren.
And I really do think you just don't realise. We didn't realise, and I'm sure you just don't. I'm sure if you were looking down, and obviously I don't know what happens, but I like to think Dad looks down. But if you were looking down and watching your family fall apart, and all that you told them what you wanted to happen, but it's not happening because you didn't write a legally binding will, and the government will has fallen into place. So legally that has to happen. You'd be devastated, wouldn't you, seeing the family fall apart? It's so important to write a will, and we've just got such extremely crazy prices tonight that make it so affordable. But only until close of business on Friday, you've got that extra 10% off. We'll have a quick look at the prices, but you'll see then, of course, you have got an incredible saving. And don't forget, we are going to go into briefly what lasting power of attorney is. So you can see there, if you are thinking about doing the will, should be, and we thought it'd be really expensive a will, but actually at £249, to know that what you've worked so hard for, and you know what you want to happen with it, you know who you want to have what and who you don't want to have, you could have it all written down legally for £249, worth every single penny. But our normal price is £99, but you have got that extra 10% off until close of business on Friday. So get in touch now to secure the price at £89, and you can split that cost over those 4 payments of £22.25, which is probably less than you spend on coffee a week. It's crazy, isn't it? And then, of course, you've got the lasting power of attorney, which we're going to go into a bit of detail there, and you can do the 2 joint together as well.
Yeah, and we'll talk about lasting power of attorney now, just so you know what it is, because I think a lot of people hear the words lasting power of attorney, but aren't quite sure the depths and what it means.
I think sometimes you hear about it when it's too late, and I think that's how we heard about it for somebody else. It was too late for them to get lasting power of attorney, and that's why we originally got it for your mum first of all, didn't we? And then I got through Simpler Law, before they worked with us here on Shop on TV, did my mum's lasting power of attorney. So Emma, it's something like we say, I think they've probably heard of the wording, but what is lasting power of attorney?
So basically these are two documents. So one is property and finance and the other one is health and welfare. So what it is you choose somebody to be your attorney, so whoever you like. You are basically a donor. On the paperwork it calls you a donor. So what you're doing is you're giving this person, the attorney, the power to do everything that you would normally do. Well, you've got capacity. So they're stepping into your shoes, basically, in the eyes of the Institute. They become you.
So when we say about capacity, it's when you lose capacity, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that could be through things like illness, couldn't it?
Yeah. So you've got your usual, which is normally sort of, dementia, Alzheimer's. But then, there's things like you could be an accident.
Tragic accident.
Absolutely, which is just awful. And then you lose capacity, you're in a coma maybe for a long time. So it's things like this. So it's really good to put them in place as soon as possible.
And you choose someone that you trust and you love. So it could be perhaps your daughter, it could be your son, it could be your husband, your wife. You choose the person that you would trust to step into your shoes. Because sadly, again, I look after mum now, so I would presume, if my mum was really poorly, of course I could sort out her affairs. Or if you were married and you think, well, gosh, we've got a joint bank account, of course I can sort out the affairs. But again, legally, that's not the case, is it?
No, not at all. No, just because you're married or, you're related in any way, doesn't give you any rights. So say you had a joint bank account, they could freeze it. Then you've got no access to your own money, let alone, the person that's incapacitated.
Again, that's something you just don't realise. But when you do think about it, I can't ring up for mum. Really, even to change her phone without them speaking to mum and mum saying yes.
Because the first question is always, are you the account holder? And as soon as you say no, it stops there. So we've got a list actually with the property and affairs, haven't we?
We do.
And when you look at this is all the different things that happen with the property and affairs lasting power of attorney.
That you wouldn't have control over.
You wouldn't have control over, no. But if you do have the lasting powers of attorney, of course, you could then obviously claim allowances, benefits, pensions. Gosh. You could then open and close bank accounts, a normal sort of thing, pay bills. But of course, I think a truly important one is if you are in the middle of buying or selling a property, or you need to sell your property to help support with maybe, care home fees or anything like that, then you can do this with this document.
I love what it says at the bottom of this page. Essentially, you choose someone you trust to manage your affairs, and in the eyes of the institutions and companies that they deal with, they become you. I think that makes it really clear.
It's a really, really solid statement, that is.
But that's just the first one, isn't it? There are two.
Yeah, so there's two,
I thought there was only one. When we came to you with mum, it was the financial side of things. And then you explained there was that sort of a health and welfare. And I was like, mum, this is just as important as the
absolutely,
or more important than the finance.
Because this one's a truly emotional one, isn't it? It's your loved one going, when they've lost capacity, if they have to go into care, where do you want them to go?
Yeah, and you want to be able to control that. But again, you wouldn't. These are things that you wouldn't be able to do if you didn't have lasting power.
No, even down to things like, where they're going to live, what they're going to wear, what they're going to eat.
Yeah.
What kind of medication they're going to receive as well. So really, really important.
Yeah, just as important, I think equally important there with the lasting power of attorney with health and welfare. The offers that we've got for you, remember, are limited until close of business on Friday. So do take advantage. And it is that first step, I think.
I think that's what we're quite rubbish at, aren't we? It's actually getting something, that first step to make that phone call. When you actually get the job done, it's like, oh, weight off your shoulder. Yeah. We need a new carpet on the stairs. Haven't made the phone call, still open the door, think, oh my God, open the door like this so no one can see the stair carpet. And not because we can't afford it, not because we don't want to have it done. It's just that first, we just don't get round to ringing them. So do it right now, because tomorrow or today actually will get in the way, won't it? You'll get up later, you'll take the kids to school, you'll go to work, it'll be the weekend and it'll be next week. And you think, oh gosh, I get in touch with Simpler Law. And sadly, you've missed that extra 10% off. You've missed the extra discount that you're getting with Shop on TV. So do it right now, because all you're doing right now, we're not needing any details. We just need you to secure the prices and get in contact.
So whether it's lasting power of attorney or wills or the combination that we've got for you, all of those offers only until the close of business on Friday. But we're going to go back to wills, aren't we, and talk more in depth when it comes to a will. I don't think anyone would think it'd be £89 to be able to write a legally binding will.
No, I think one of the things that probably does put you off is it's going to be really expensive, and it truly isn't. It's so affordable, especially right now with Simpler Law and our extra discount. So remember, so easy to get in contact as well, whether you want to get in contact via the phones, whether you want to text, whether you want to get in contact via the internet, whatever you'd rather do. This is the really nice thing. You can go via the website simplerlaw.co.uk/shop on TV. You can jump onto the phones right now. The team are there.
Yeah, right through to the end of the show. 0333 600 2600. And don't worry, you don't need any documents. You're just securing those offers that we've talked about. But the most popular way on these shows is always the texting service. Just text the word will, WILL, to 66777, and that's whether you want the will or the lasting power of attorney.
That is the absolute easiest. And do stay with us, because we're going to talk into detail why a will is so important. Because sadly, I think what we don't realise is if you haven't written a legally binding will, there is a will out there that's written for you by the government. It will automatically fall into place, whether you've told the whole family what you want to happen. Unless it's written in a legally binding will, the government will falls into place. And that's when things go horribly wrong, because that doesn't work for anybody.
And we'll talk about lots of scenarios as we go through the show, why having a will or not having a will.
Whether you're in a relationship and you're not married, whether you're married and you've got children from different relationships, whether you're a single person, you will be blown away how important it is for everybody to have a will.
And it's really important to choose Simpler Law. When we talk about Simpler Law, Charlotte, you're experts in the field. This is all you do, isn't it?
This is all that we do, yeah. We're specialists in the field, so you wouldn't come to us for anything else, like a boundary dispute or a divorce or anything like that. This is all that we do. We've got fully trained staff. We've got 5-star rating on Trustpilot, which we're really proud of. And these Trustpilots are named for our consultants as well,
yes,
which is really important, because we really pride ourselves on it being a hand-holding service. So we'll help you all the way through. It's not just a case of, calling up, writing your will, here's your will, off you go.
You become friends, really,
yeah,
Charlotte.
absolutely.
The lady that we dealt with for Lasting Power of Attorney, she became a friend. And not at one point, I'm the biggest worrier out, did I feel I shouldn't have asked that question. I always come away from thinking, that was a silly question to ask, or I don't ask it because that's probably really daft. I felt like it was just a nice little conversation, felt I could ask anything. And even after the conversation, felt I could email and say, I forgot to ask this.
Definitely.
And you're so patient and do it at our time, in our time, and you want it to be right for everyone. And I think that's why people mention individual names, because you do become a friend.
Yeah, you can only know what you know, and that's what we're there for. We won't produce document for you unless you're 100% happy and you fully understand exactly what you've written. So right from the beginning, you'll get a pack that comes through. I mean, today all we're asking you to do is to take that first step.
Yeah.
So as long as you've taken that first step, you've done something great today. But after that, we'll lead the way from there. We'll send out a pack through email, which you can read through to prepare for your consultation. But even then, you don't need all the answers. That's what our job is there to do. We will ask you the questions. You'll have them there somewhere. You'll know what you want to do. And even if you don't, it's at your own pace. So, if you need us to call you back, as you say, or you've got a question you want to come back to us with, absolutely fine. And worst case, if it gets to the consultation or the end of the consultation and you think, actually, for whatever reason, this isn't for me, have your money back.
Great.
Because we really pride ourselves on the fact that it's very rare that's going to happen.
That's great peace of mind, isn't it? I love the fact, Emma, that because I think a lot of people will expect we've got to go into a solicitor's or a lawyer's office, and it's really intimidating. It's a real hand-holding service.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, obviously, the team are amazing. They're super friendly, and you get to do it in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah.
So
via a phone call. We did it on sort of a video call, because I was there with Mum, and Mum obviously needed to answer the questions, but I was there to support her. And it was just so nice and so easy, with a cup of tea.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're just in your own home, just completely relaxed. I think a lot of people, Emma, don't realise, I think some people will think, well, I don't need a will because I don't really have much. But then when you actually sit down and talk to you about what you have, I think we forget that you have homes, cars.
Gosh, yeah.
And it might be an heirloom. There's so many things that you can do with a will, isn't there?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, yes, lots of people think, you know, you've got to be, you know, asset rich or something. But like you say, you've just said there, an heirloom. It might be something that's really dear to you.
Could be a wedding
And dear
ring,
to
couldn't
a
it?
friend.
Yeah.
You want to pass it on to them. But, you know, if you go down the rule of intestacy, that's not going to happen.
No.
You haven't got that choice there to do that, but you have with your own will. It's all about your choice.
And that what you mentioned there is that what I call the government will, because if you haven't written a legally binding will, sadly there is a will that's already written for you. And I suppose in a way there has to be something there, but there can't be one will for absolutely everybody. But there is. If you haven't written a legally binding will, even if you've told the whole family what you want to happen, this government will falls into place.
Yeah, it's just a series of yes/no questions, and this is where your wishes don't fall into place if you haven't written your own will.
This is that story you hear about, and all of a sudden those people that lived down the road, all of their money went to a distant relative they'd never seen, who lived in Australia, never met them. And this is how, because these yes/no questions. How old is this government will?
It celebrated its 100 years this year. So society is very different like that.
Absolutely. I mean, it couldn't have been right for anybody really 100 years ago, but
no, exactly.
a little closer perhaps, because it's so... We fail straight away because the first question is, are you married?
Yeah.
And we're not.
No.
So even though we've been together 34 years, the government would not accept that what was Sean's was mine, what was mine was Sean's.
No, it doesn't personalise at all. It doesn't take your personal circumstances into account. I mean, there's 4 of us around this table now, and none of our wills would be similar at all.
No.
But if we hadn't written a will, we'd have the exact same structure to follow, which it's just crazy when you sit back and think about it, why you wouldn't want to go out there and put this legal document in place and make sure that you have got protection. It's a really selfless thing to do, really, because you're protecting your family from potentially going down the government.
Well, there's some really sad stories, isn't there? There's a story that you told us about a doctor who wasn't married.
Yeah.
And didn't think, oh, I don't need to write a will. I'm not married, you know.
We can only
Yeah,
guess,
so-
but I guess he was a gentleman on his own.
Yeah. And
So who am I going to leave it to, sort of thing? Or we don't know.
yeah.
But it's so important, even if you are somebody, a single person, to write, because his story was so sad.
Massively. There's so many people that we speak to that will say, you know, I'm on my own, I don't have children, I haven't got a partner.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's fine, it will just go to my parents or it will go wherever it needs to go. But yeah, unfortunately, this gentleman was a doctor, so he had quite a large estate, which, you know, irrelevant at
worked
that
hard
point, but
for.
he'd worked hard for
Yeah.
what he had. And unfortunately, when he was born, his parents split. So he didn't actually have a relationship with his father. So he was really close to his mother, but never known his father for whatever reason. We'll never know, but his father wasn't in the picture. So unfortunately, when he passed away, he didn't have a will in place. So rules of intestacy, first question is, are you married or in a civil partnership? No. Second question, do you have children? No. And third question is, do you have parents? And the answer is yes. But at this point, with it being rules of intestacy, this gentleman had 2 parents, so a mother and a father. And although he'd had no relationship with his father whatsoever, his mum at that point, after losing her son, has then had to go and track down her
Father.
ex-husband, partner of all those years, who's never had a relationship with his son, and actually say, you're getting half of this estate. Yeah, which we'll never know the reasons why he didn't write a will, we'll never know the reasons why he didn't have a relationship with his father, but I'm pretty sure we can all say he wouldn't have wanted that to happen.
No.
But
So he
by
didn't know
not
him.
picking up the phone and putting that will in place, that mum has then had to, what would have been a hard situation anyway, it's been even more difficult because she's had to go through all of that turmoil, when just putting a will in place would have removed all of that, and it could have gone straight to his mum.
Yeah.
And, you know, his wish would have been met then at that point. And it just makes the people that you've got left behind, it doesn't make the situation any better. It can't, because you've lost someone that you love, but it doesn't make it any worse.
And the other thing I think to say is it's not complicated or hard to do, is it? So I think a lot of people will be, it's a legal document, I'm a little bit scared of it. It's a really simple process.
Really, really
isn't it?
simple. Again, the team are amazing. They will literally hold your hand from start to finish. And then it's just general questions.
Yeah.
You have all the answers.
I love that.
And again, your choice at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You don't have to overthink it. I'm a big overthinker, worry about absolutely anything to do with law. I'm like that. flashing lights behind me. I did it.
Every time.
Every time, like, what have I done? And I haven't done anything, but it scares me. And we felt like that. Mum's even worse than me. But as soon as you sit down and start chatting, it is a really nice, easy conversation. And though we tried to think of everything, we didn't need to do that because it is just a conversation. And you ask the right question to get us to find the answer. You know what you need to find out from us, and you ask the questions to do it.
That is literally as simple as it is.
Yeah.
So, you know, phone
Pick up the
today,
phone, you
text,
can text,
even.
you can get in touch via email. In fact, Charlotte mentioned Trustpilot. The reviews are fabulous. In fact, there's one about you, Charlotte.
Oh,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes, of
Because you might talk to Charlotte
That's saying.
about
If
your
you're lucky, yeah.
and take a look, because honestly, it's so nice to hear people's individual names because they made a difference.
So Alan said this, our consultant Charlotte explained everything in clear, unambiguous terms. Pricing was made clear and cooling off period was explained. That was if it's not for you, remember you'll get your money back. Consultant was very pleasant and caring and sensitive to our needs. All necessary legal terms were explained in plain and simple English. That's something else I think that's really important because with law we think the terminology is
that's
be
where
really
you can slip up
complicated.
if you try and write your own because
Yes,
you don't
we'll talk about
understand
that,
the
actually, yeah.
terminology and you write it how you see it is right, but actually legally it's not.
Alison said this, great service, extremely helpful and very informative. Morgan, who managed my will, was extremely pleasant and helpful and made the whole procedure very easy and very clear for me to understand. Couldn't have asked for a better, really nice man. Well done, Morgan.
lovely.
Bonus
Yeah.
for Morgan.
Yeah.
Here's another one for you. I'd been putting off doing a will because I thought it'd be complicated and take ages, but it was so easy. And now I don't have to think about it anymore. I can also ring up if I need to change anything. That's a great point.
Yeah.
So if someone's got a will already in place or they wanted to change something they've done with you, that's easy as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Just give us a call. You might have written a will previously, but has it been signed correctly? Is it still relevant?
So that's
Yeah.
important, isn't it? The
Yeah.
Because
signing.
things change, don't they?
Absolutely.
The signing is really important.
Yeah.
But you might have more grandchildren
Yeah.
now, or there's so many things. And of course, the law, the legally things change.
Legislation's
So
changed.
there might be something that could help
Government
make things
legislation
better.
changes.
Yeah, massively.
that
You
we-
might not have realised.
Yeah, don't know about.
We write a will and we put it to the side, and that's what
Yeah.
you should do. You've got that peace of mind
Yeah.
that you've got something in place. But actually, what has changed since then? Because you
Yeah.
could have done it when your children were under the age of 18, but actually now they're 30, 40. They've got several children. You've got grandchildren. So actually, have a look at your will and just check it is still relevant to you and that it is signed and dated and witnessed correctly. Because if not, that is something we can help with. Absolutely.
Now, we just saw in one of those reviews a mention about doing it yourself. We mentioned it.
Yes.
And doing
'Cause there are
templates.
isn't there?
What do you think about those, Charlotte?
What do I think about
Don't
those?
sit on the fence.
Yeah, I'll sit on the fence. No. At the end of the day, templates are there because everyone can try and do something themselves, and the worst thing about a template is that you've gone out and you've wanted to put something in place.
Right.
So, which is great, but unfortunately with templates, they don't give you any advice. If you come to us and you speak to one of our consultants, they're there to give you the advice based on your circumstances with regards to inheritance tax. It could be how you own your property. It could be merged families and how that's going to work for you. We actually use terms, which I won't go too in depth with, but first and second death, which
Yes.
won't mean anything to you most likely, but obviously someone's always going to pass away first
In a couple.
and we have to take that into account when we're writing a will. And a lot of the time, if you've not had that advice and you
wouldn't
write that
even
will
think about
yourself,
that.
you wouldn't.
No.
And,
There was
you
a
know,
story, wasn't there, that a couple, they were grandparents.
Yes.
And they
Right,
they
yes.
had written their own will, hadn't they? And that's
had.
where they'd gone wrong with the first and second death. So
Yeah.
what happened there, just to make it make sense?
So again, the frustrating thing here was that they actually had the intention to
They-
do something
they
right.
knew what they wanted,
Yeah,
yeah.
and really, they had written a good will to a point, but they hadn't taken that first and second death into account. So grandparents, they were leaving gifts to their grandchildren. So £1,000 each. They had 3 grandchildren at the time, but £1,000 each to their grandchildren. Now, at the time of the passing, when Mr. passed away, they'd written that they wanted the gifts to come out in both wills.
So straight away.
Yes, but obviously they wanted everything to firstly pass to each other. Now, without that
hadn't written that
advice,
down,
gifts
right.
come out initially
On the first step.
on the first death. if we'd have given that advice, we'd have said, right, you want everything to go to each other and the gifts will come out on second death.
Yeah.
Because obviously you've both passed away. That's usually how clients would want that written.
And they actually had more grandchildren, didn't they? So it
lot
went from
more.
So at the time,
£3,000.
yeah, he'd passed away, but he'd written it in both wills. So on his death, not only did it not all go to his wife first, the gifts were coming out, but rather than 3 grandchildren, he had 8. So the gift had also increased, but not only that, it was coming out in his will, and then on second death, when the wife had passed away,
It was going
to repeat itself. Exactly right.
And
And at the time, they didn't have any cash.
I was going to say there wasn't enough
It was
money
the
in the
property.
estate, was there?
Exactly. So the property was going to have to be sold in order to pay for
This
the
is
cash
why
gifts.
it's so
Now
important.
they had
isn't it?
they had all good intentions, but unfortunately, without that advice, it's not been written correctly.
No.
So although you've got the intention to write the will, please go somewhere where you're going to get advice, and that's what we're here to do.
And half the time you have to pay for those
You
temples.
still have to
course you
pay
do,
for
yeah.
them.
So when you see the prices that we've got, my goodness, it's it's the way to go is the way to go is the doing it legally binding with Simpler Law with our price tonight, because our price is absolutely incredible. So you've got exactly what you want. It's definitely going to happen because you know that Simpler Law, this is all they do. So you've got that peace of mind that what you want to happen, to what you've worked so hard for, is actually going to happen. So if you are looking at doing a will, I know for us we thought it'd be really expensive, but actually to know that what you want to happen is going to happen, £249, I'd happily spend that. That's fantastic. I thought it'd be thousands. £249 is a great price, but our normal price, because we always have a great discount with Shop on TV, is £99. But if you get this deal secured just by getting in contact before the end of work on Friday, you're actually getting an extra 10% off as well. So you're actually getting it at £89, and you can split that cost over 4 payments. So £22.25 is the first of those 4 payments, which is, I say it every time, but I bet it's less than you spend on coffee in a week. It's so affordable.
It's so affordable, and that peace of mind, that weight lifted that you've just taken that first
If
step.
you haven't written a legally binding will, and if you've written a will incorrectly by yourself, what you want to happen isn't going to happen automatically. The government will fall in place. Government will fall in place, and sadly, that is not what you want to happen. It doesn't work for. It's 100 years old. It doesn't work for anybody.
There's also lasting power of attorney. We're going to talk about that in a moment. And there's a combination with the will and lasting power of attorney, which is the biggest saving of all. The easiest thing to do, though, is just get in touch. Take that first step. And there's so many different ways to get in touch.
First 250 people will get a fabulous book as well, which just you can write down everything that's important for your family when you do actually pass. So if they need passwords for phones or tablets, or need to know where your pensions are, it's all in that great book. And that book is for the first 250 people. And all you need to do to make sure you get the price and get that book is make sure you secure the deal, and you can do it in any of these ways, whichever is right for you. simplerlaw.co.uk/shop on TV, or you can jump onto the phones. The team are there right now.
Yes, 0333 600 2600. They're right through till the end of the show. The team are ready and waiting. You don't need any forms, you don't need any documentation. It's just about securing those offers that we just showed you. And we're going to talk more about lasting power of attorney in just a couple of moments. However, the busiest way, the most popular way on these shows is if you want to text, isn't it?
Yeah, and all you do, your phone's right there, isn't it? It's probably in your hand right now. You're probably watching and looking at your phone at the same time. To secure the deal, you don't have to speak to anybody. You don't need any information. You just text the word will to 66777. It's that simple. And you've done it. You've secured the prices. You've taken that first step. That's what we're so rubbish at, isn't it? It'll be a weight off your shoulders when you've written that will and you think you've got that peace of mind. What you want to happen is going to happen because it's in a legally binding will. And all you need to do to make sure that happens is to text that word will right now to 66777. Always the busiest way, because I think it's the easiest way. Perhaps you've spoken, all day you've been speaking to people. The last thing you want to do is speak to anyone. Will like that. Like, you answer the phone, you answer the door. I'm not going. I don't want to talk to them. So just text Will. It's done. And they'll get back in touch with you a little bit later on today and sort out a time that's right for you. So even if you're going on holiday for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they will get back into contact and you can sort out a day that's right to really just sit down and talk through everything.
If you want to go through our website, if you're used to shopping on shopontv.co.uk, just scroll down there on our website to our partners, our on-screen partners. You'll see all the different logos. Click on Simpler Law, and that will take you directly through to those exclusive offers, whether it's the will, whether it's the lasting power of attorney, or whether it's the combination. Just a few details to fill in, and that secures those offers. And again, the team will get back to you to secure an appointment.
And it's a very simple. I can answer all those answers. There's nothing tricky there at all. So again, another really easy way just to make sure you secure those prices, because sadly they will go back up at the end of business on Friday. So just make sure you secure the prices, and then everything afterwards, honestly, is so easy. The team are amazing at Simpler Law, and the nice thing is we met some of the members of Simpler Law way before they came and worked with us here on Shop on TV, because we did Mum's lasting power of attorney through Simpler Law. And I panic about absolutely everything, worry about everything. I'm rubbish at anything really technical, you know, or law or any big long words. And you're just like, oh yeah, it's going to be horrendous. It was sitting down with a friend, just chatting. Yeah. And you don't need to know anything. They actually talk the answers out of you just by chatting. They know what they need to know. They ask the right questions. And in here, we've got the answers. We just need to know.
It's literally, Charlotte always says, it's a hand-holding service, isn't it?
It is.
It's so laid back.
Yeah.
And for someone like Hayley, who does get wound up, and a mum, about things such as that.
The two worst.
Yeah, together. Whoa, together, my word, I tell you, it's a lot.
Even where to go for lunch or what to have. It's very tense.
Now, you've probably heard of the term lasting power of attorney, but let's get Emma to explain what it means, because I think a lot of people have heard of it, but don't really know what it means.
No, so obviously, again, it's a document. There's two of them. You've got property and affairs, sorry. And then you've got the health and welfare. So these are documents that you would put in place if you were to lose capacity. Okay, so what it essentially means, you're classed as a donor, and then you're given somebody that you trust, so they're the attorney, basically the power to step into your shoes. They can do everything that you can do on a daily basis.
So if you fall very, very poorly, or perhaps an accident or something like that, and perhaps you go into a coma, or you haven't got capacity anymore, though automatically, if it was you, I would think, he's my partner, of course I can deal with everything. My mum, I look after mum now, I'll just step in, I can do all those things. But it's truly not the case, is it?
It doesn't work that way, unfortunately, no. I mean, even now, you know, I'm married, but I couldn't go into my husband's bank and say, I want to draw some money out. They're just going to say,
and even if you had a joint account...
Yeah, they could freeze that. Because obviously they're obviously protecting the vulnerable person.
It is about that, isn't it? It's about protection,
absolutely.
Isn't it? We just saw some details pop on the screen, and these are all the different things that you can do with the property and affairs lasting power of attorney.
Things you don't even think about. So all these things you wouldn't be able to do unless you had lasting power of attorney for something.
No, you wouldn't, believe it or not. So yeah, if you've got lasting power of attorney in place, and of course you can open and close and operate accounts, you can pay household bills, you can manage investments and stuff like that. Obviously claiming pensions, but also I think ultimately, you know, buying and selling the house, or to deal with the mortgage if you've got a mortgage.
Well, you might need to sell the house to pay for a care home or something,
absolutely.
Might you? And dealing with HMRC as well, you know, all things you don't think of.
No, I mean, what if your partner was self-employed and they had to do the tax returns and stuff like that?
You can't do any of that without a lasting power of attorney. And so literally you step into their shoes.
You are them in the eyes of the institute.
So you choose someone you trust.
Yes, of course.
And we can choose anyone, can't you?
You can choose anyone, yes. It could be a friend, a family member, you know, anyone.
A son,
it's
a
your
daughter.
choice again. Yeah,
Great.
absolutely.
We came to you about the sort of the financial side of things, but then when we sat down, and like I say, you sit down and just chat, then you mentioned there was another lasting power of attorney.
Yes.
The health and welfare, I was like to Mum, I think this is, I don't know if it's more important, it's just as important or more important than the finance side of things.
It's the personal things.
It is, it's the emotional side of it. You know, you can choose where they're going to live, you know, what care home they're going to go to, things like what they're going to wear on a daily basis, what they're going to eat even, who can see them even, you know, they may be estrayed from family members.
From a sister or something, don't want to see the sister.
Yeah. And again, down to even medical care, you know, medication even,
And again, that statement at the bottom of the screen there, essentially, you choose someone you trust to manage your affairs, and in the eyes of the institutions, as Emma said, and companies that they deal with, they become you. So it's basically a document to have in place just in case, isn't it?
It's a just in case, absolutely, you know, and it's something that you're going to do obviously in your life. So as soon as you get the documents, register them straight away. You just never know.
Now, that's a good point. So there is a registration, isn't there?
There is. So you'd have to go to once the documents are in place, that we've done that, we've processed it for you, you would have to then register them with what's called the Office of Public Guardian.
Okay.
Now, obviously, there is a cost per document, which is £82, but it depends on your circumstances, because it could be £41 or even free.
Right.
As well.
And the other thing to say is, if these aren't in place, because we talked about this with wills, if they're not in place, there is a whole process that you have to go, isn't there?
Massively, yeah. So powers of attorney, the whole point of these is that you put them in place now. We like
Whilst
to think it's
you're
never going to happen. You know, but if life throws you that curveball, you want to know that you've got these in place should that happen. We don't like to call it an insurance document, but it's similar. It's a what if. A what if document that you've got that in place. But yeah, if you haven't got that document, unfortunately, it is too late at that point. The only route you've got is to apply to what's called the Court of Protection.
And that's what we're looking at now. So you would have to go forward and prove yourself to be the right person to step into that person's shoes, to look after their finances.
Yeah, this might even be someone that you'd actually choose.
Yeah.
So you might actually choose, you know, a daughter, for example, might be estranged from a son.
Yeah.
But actually, anyone can apply for the Court of Protection. Obviously, they've got to prove they've got your best interests at heart, but it might not be the person you initially choose.
So then you have to find all these costs.
So firstly, the cost, for example, and this is if you do it yourself, what you can see on the screen
That's
here.
without professional
advice. That's without
advice.
any professional advice. Now, a lot of the time, you've got to take into account the time it would take someone to do this, the paperwork behind it. They probably will go to someone professional. But initially, you've got the court fees. There's actually a supervision fee that comes on the screen there, which is actually annually. So that's an ongoing fee. Now, you can't access this person's account because you don't have power of attorney. So at this point, you're having to find your own money. So at a time that's already really difficult, when someone that you love or care about has lost capacity, not only have you got to find the money to apply for the Court of Protection, you've also got to find the time, but also the time it takes to go through. Because with
when
Court
you
of
should
Protection,
be looking after your loved ones.
Yeah, at the minute it can take anywhere up to a year, sometimes even longer.
So you've wasted that precious time where you'd have rather been sat next to your loved one, and you've been trying to... And I guess this happens, which is awful. If it takes a year, some people could have passed before it's even sorted.
In worst case, that can happen, unfortunately, and you haven't actually been able to do anything for that person.
Oh, that's awful.
Powers of attorney, again, are a really selfless thing to do, because it's not going to make that time for your loved ones any easier, but it's not going to make it worse.
No.
Because they're not going to have to go through that. If you've got the documents, they can take that document to the bank, to the doctors, wherever they need to go, and act straight away for you if you're unable to. If not, unfortunately, the Court of Protection is the only route.
And it was such peace of mind for us. And the great thing is, once you've done it, you just forget about it.
Put it away and you've got that peace of
you
mind.
hope you never need to use it, but you know it's there if you ever do.
Absolutely. You know, hopefully you do never need to use it. But the point is that you've got it there, should life throw you that curveball. You know, it's the same, like I say, we don't like to call it an insurance policy, but it's the same with insurance policies. You know, with car insurance, we all go fully comp because we want to have that protection. We don't want to get in the car and think we're going to go and have a crash.
No.
But actually, you only need to do third party. We'll all do fully comp because we want to make sure we've got that protection.
And we insure so many things, don't we?
Yeah, we insure our pets,
mobile
boilers,
phones, pets, definitely.
appliances.
My mum insured her washing machine.
No.
For, not a washing machine, a dishwasher.
I remember you
It's a
saying
dishwasher for, oh gosh, I don't know how many years. It was our old family dishwasher. She used it once a week because it took her a week to fill it up because she, you know. And I was like, what? Why are you? We could have bought about 300 dishwashers for that price. But you just automatically think, oh gosh, I'll do the insurance. And it is, though it's not an insurance, in a way it sort of is.
It's a what-if document,
Yeah.
we call it. You hope you never need it, but it's there if you do.
It's big peace of mind again for your loved ones.
Massively, yeah. And all it takes is just picking up that phone, having that consultation again, and putting it aside. And you know that you've done something really, really good for your family and your loved ones, because if the worst should happen, they can step into your shoes and do all of that for you.
And again, you don't need any documentation.
No.
You don't need
anything.
Literally, you have all the answers, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. You just need to know you want to do something really good today.
And it is a sit-down chat conversation like we're having right now.
Exactly the same as a will. And look, there are better things to spend your money on. We know that. Takeaways, shopping, we all love to do that. But these are really, really important documents. We've shown that it can be really affordable. And like I say, once you've done it, it's that weight lifted. Every client that we speak to gets to the end of a consultation. Oh gosh, I'm so glad I've done that now. I feel really good for having done that. I don't think you realise you've got that weight on your shoulders.
You just don't know what's around the corner, do you? And
no. If we all knew, we had a crystal ball and knew what was going to happen, you put these documents in place in a heartbeat.
Right.
But we don't. So put them in place today and know that you've done something really good for your family.
And the great thing is you can do all of this at really fantastic prices. Whether you just want to do the will, whether you just want to do the lasting power of attorney, whether you want to put the two together. So have a little look again at those prices, because these are excellent prices, but extra special. Up until close of business on Friday, you've got an extra 10% off as well. So they're even better than they should be. So will-wise, and I think one of the things that probably put you off doing a will is you think it's complicated. Well, we've proven it's not complicated to do the will, the lasting power of attorney. Simpler law will make it so simple for you. But price-wise, you do think it's going to be really expensive, and it's not. Actually, at £249, to know what you've worked so hard for is going to go to who you want it to go to. You know, you've worked so hard for everything you own. You'd be devastated if it went to the wrong people. £249 is nothing, but actually, look at our price. Should be £99, amazing. It's another 10% off until close of business on Friday. So £89 to get your will legally written. And then you can split that cost as well to 4 payments, £22.25. And I say it every time, but I think it makes you realise how affordable it is. How much do you spend on coffee a week? Or in a few days, I would say, for some coffees. It makes it so affordable to get that will written. But then lasting power of attorney that we just spoke about.
Yeah, we've just been talking about those lasting powers of attorney for you. The suggested price on that is £349. And when you hear the details and see the cost of the Court of Protection, that is a great price on its own. However, our reduced price is less than £200. And with that extra special, extra 10% discount, it comes down to £179. With those 4 interest-free payments that Simpler Law are offering you, it's just £44.75 on your first of 4 payments there. But the best value of all, if you've been watching the show and you've thought, oh, will and lasting power of attorney sounds really important. Well, even at £600, £598, again, it's a brilliant price, that peace of mind, that weight lifted from your shoulders. But the reduced price of £269 comes down even further to £242 for both. So it comes down on those 4 interest-free payments to just £60.50 on your first of 4 payments.
Thinking, what do you spend on a takeaway? We spend that money so easily. We went to London for a couple of nights. A round was more than that. Honestly, yeah, it's absolutely bonkers. And we'll spend that, but this is that complete peace of mind. Now, if you are getting in contact right now, the first 250 people will actually get this fabulous book, and it is a fabulous book. I used to say originally we should have it from birth, but it's a little bit early. From working, I think we should always have something like this, because it secures all your details that are so important to your family members when you do pass. They're not going to know how many pensions you've got, or even your passwords and things. How did this book come about, Charlotte?
So this actually came through from our estate administration department. So, you know, when we're distributing someone's estate, acting as executors, this is the information that you need to go out and find in order to distribute their estate. So we actually put it all in place to make life easier, really, for your loved ones. There's actually some statistics in the sense there's over £5 billion worth of unclaimed pension pots that are sitting there.
So people's pensions that should have gone to loved ones, family, it's just sat there because nobody knows it's
exactly
there.
As you say, when you think about your parents, you know, my dad, I wouldn't know
all the jobs they had from 18
when he was younger.
Yeah.
Exactly. So without him having put that down, you've then got to go out there and try and find them. And let's be honest, there's probably going to be some that you've missed there.
Yeah.
And that's what equates towards that over £5 billion worth of pension pots. There's over £2 billion worth of life insurance policies. That
2 billion.
That are just out there because no one knows they exist.
Because no one knew, no one wrote them down, no one spoke to their family.
Because again, you sort of start different ones, don't you? It gets to nothing, but that money keeps adding up.
Definitely, and especially now we're in a digital age, you haven't got the paperwork that's there.
No.
You've got to try and log on to accounts, you've got to try and find the accounts. So by putting this together is really, really popular with clients.
Things like those digital accounts, all the digital passwords can be
massively.
everything in one place, so you're not hunting all around the house.
Yeah, because it might be an email you need, and if you haven't got you can't get onto that tablet or phone if you haven't got the password. This happened to a family member, didn't it? And they really needed to get, this gentleman died, you know, wasn't expected
Really
at all.
suddenly.
Really needed to get onto his tablet, and just they couldn't, and they were sat
one
having
knew
the
the code.
conversation. What do we do? Because we really need to get. And they were like, well, how do we find what the password was? And luckily, the grandson was walking past, and he was like, I know Granddad's password, because he'd played on his tablet, and that's the only reason they managed to get on it. But if there's something, and it might be something really sentimental, it might be, you know, old photographs that they've got on their phone, or memories that you haven't got, and it's on their phone. You know, it's so important, and it is for the first 250. They always disappear, these books, so do please, whilst you're able, make sure you're one of the first to just secure the deal. And to secure the deal is so easy.
Yeah, it's so simple, so straightforward. As Hayley said, first 250 people will receive that, as long as you secure the offers. Very important that you do it before close of business Friday for those prices that we just talked about. However, when you do get in touch, well, let's show you exactly how easy it is.
Well, every option really, isn't there?
Yeah.
Perhaps you don't want to speak to anybody, you can jump onto the website simplylaw.co.uk/shop on TV, and you can very simply just put your information on there, and the team will get back to you later on today. Or you can right now jump onto the phones. The team are there ready and waiting. Perhaps you've got a couple of questions you want to ask, and that's fine. But obviously, you don't need any information today. It is just securing the prices. That's all you're doing, and securing yourself that book, which is easy to ring. It's 0333 600 2600. But actually, one of the easiest. I enter every competition with this. I think I'm meant to win this week £455,000 tomorrow. Yeah, they should ring me just after 5 o'clock. They won't. I never win. But you are winning with this, because when you text Will to 66777, you've won already, because you've secured that price. Whether it's the will, whether it's the lasting power of attorney, whether it's both, whatever you decide you want, you've secured those prices just by texting Will. Where's your phone? It's right there in your hand. It's by you, isn't it? You're probably looking at and watching us at the same time. Text Will to 66777.
It's just taking that first step. If you've thought about writing a will and you've never just got round to it.
We're rubbish at the first step. And one day, sadly, it'll be too late. It's out of our hands. And that day when it is too late, and you might be, and I don't know what happens, but I'd like to think Dad looks down over me. I'm sure I dreamt about him so much last night and saw white feathers everywhere today. So I truly believe that he is. But wouldn't you be kicking yourself if you were watching your family fall out because they knew what you wanted to happen with everything you'd worked so hard for? You'd told them. But sadly, that's not legally binding. If it's not written in a legally binding will, don't forget there is a will, and it will automatically fall into place. Even if you've told everybody you love what you want to happen, it's not going to happen. The government will falls in place, and that honestly isn't right for anybody.
Don't let life get in the way. Take that first step and have that weight lifted.
That's the thing we're rubbish at, is actually the first thing. Like I keep saying, stair carpet in our house desperately needs doing.
Very bitter.
We hate it. We both hate it. We
both
vacuum it. We open the door. We hate it.
We vacuum it, most of it falls off.
Yeah.
It's not good.
And then we're like, why haven't we changed the stair? Not that we can't afford
First
it.
step.
We haven't rung anybody. We haven't gone into a shop and asked about a stair carpet. It's that first step. And when we get that carpet done, my word, I'll be running up and down those stairs. It'll be the best thing. It's just that, I don't know why we're rubbish at that. So you getting in contact tonight, that is that tricky bit. Honestly, hand on heart, everything else is so simple, because Simpler Law make it so easy for you.
The other way to get in touch is directly through our website, shopontv.co.uk. Go to the website, scroll down, you'll see our on-screen partners about halfway down there. Click on Simpler Law and it takes you straight through. It gives you all the details you need, all the different offers that we've got available with the extra 10% off. Remember, only until the close of business on Friday. Even gives you the other options to get in touch there. But just fill out that form and you've taken that first step that we're talking about. If you change your mind on whether it's just a will or just a lasting power of attorney or the combination, it's fine. You've secured those offers. Even tells you a few more details about how the team are going to get in touch.
So don't panic. Perhaps you've already rung up and you've said, I want to do the will. And now you've listened to the lasting power of attorney, you think, I should have asked for the will and lasting power of attorney. How stupid, I should have listened for. You can still do that. As long as you get in contact right now before the close of business on Friday, but do it right now because you'll forget. You know you've secured every price that's on there, so whatever you decide you want to do, you've secured that deal. But a will is so important, and Charlotte, it is so important, isn't it, to write a legally binding will with a company like yourselves?
Massively, yeah. So a lot of people won't realise they actually do have a will if they don't write a legally binding document. By doing a legally binding document, you're putting your wishes down on paper and you know that that's going to happen. A will is inevitable. We're all going to need to have a will, unfortunately, at some point. If only we were invincible. We're not. At some point, we're all going to need to have a will. So we know that we're going to need to use it. So by putting it in place, you know that your wishes are going to be met when you do pass away. It's the most selfless thing you can do because you know that your family's going to be taken care of. But if you haven't put that in place and taken that first step, unfortunately there is a will out there that isn't going to do what you want it to. It's called what we call the government will, but rules of intestacy. Simple yes-no questions, but it's not relevant to anybody. We've never written a will that's followed the rules of intestacy.
Well, it's over 100 years old. You're looking at it right now. And I mean, we fail straight away because the first question is, are you married? And though we've been together 34 years, which was longer than probably some marriages, the government wouldn't care about that. And though what's mine is Sean and Sean is mine, the government wouldn't see that at all, would they?
No, it's not personal
So
whatsoever.
if it was us, Charlotte, our scenario, just run us through what would happen if we didn't have a will in place.
So if you didn't have a will in place, the first question is, are you married or in a civil partnership?
No,
so for the two of you, no.
So
automatically you're going straight to the next question. So it's very simple. Do you have children? Yes or no? No. Do you have parents that are still with us?
Yes.
Yes. Then it would be your parents that would inherit.
So it'd go to yours would go to your mum.
Yeah.
And so yours would actually go to your sisters.
Because I don't have.
Because then it would go to siblings. Exactly.
And
right.
this
so
is
you've
a bit
worked your whole lives for, your home, everything that you have together that naturally you'd want to pass to each other. But by not putting that will in place, it's not going to happen, unfortunately.
It's a bit like the stories you sometimes hear, don't you? And you hear that story of the couple down the road, the lovely old couple, that live down the road. They've both passed and everything got left to, I don't know, some distant relative in, South Africa they'd never met. They didn't know.
And that's how down the bloodline.
Down the bloodline, yeah. I think it's just a lack of knowledge.
Yeah,
don't wake up on a Saturday morning and think, what's going to happen if I pass away and I haven't got a will in place? I think part of it's the assumption that obviously you've been together, everyone's going to know that you wanted to pass to each other, but legally that's not the case. And I also think it's the hope that we don't have those conversations, do we really, around the dinner table? We're not very good at having the conversations. Like that, everyone thinks it's quite daunting. When you come and speak to us, I can promise you it's not. You'll actually have a really good time. You might even have a laugh.
You do,
it's genuinely.
You say that, don't you?
Yeah, you will.
But it's really relaxed and not, because you think it's going to be quite intense, but it's a really straightforward process, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the team would just ask you the questions.
Yeah.
You've got all the answers.
Yeah.
You know the information you need, so just with a nice sit-down chat, you ask the questions. We've got the answers there, but didn't realise we knew.
No, that's it. And it's just so relaxed. And again, you're doing it in the comfort of your own home. Yeah. And that's very simple questions.
Yeah. And with a will, the other thing is that people think initially it's just monetary things, maybe just your
Sometimes
house.
You think, well, I haven't got anything, but actually you have so much, don't you, without even realising.
You do. You might have pets as well that, we don't think about the pets as much, Let's face it, we're in a nation of pet lovers and and we love our pets. I mean, I love my dog more than my children. So I would
We've heard
certainly
that
want
before.
her.
So, yeah.
We've heard that very recently.
We did hear that
over the
very
weekend. We won't say who it was.
But I would want her to go to a good home.
You want her to be
I want her
looked
to go
after.
to who I would want. And
So
not
you
to
could
Yeah,
put that into a will, and then you could perhaps give
Absolutely.
money to that person
Yeah.
or to that charity, or
Again, yeah, absolutely. You know,
and with children as well. And I know this is a absolutely horrible thought,
yeah.
but if there were young children and both parents were in a terrible accident and they lost both parents, in your will you could actually say who you would want to look after your children.
Yeah, so you can choose guardians for your children. And if we didn't have a will in place and we had the government will, you don't get that choice.
No.
So worst case scenario, they could, you know, go into the foster care system. So become ward of state, as we call it.
Or it could be a family fallout because both grandparents
Yeah.
come forward, the sisters from both families
Yeah.
come forward, and then
That's
it's another upset for a family
Yeah.
that's already devastated.
They're devastated, and
There's
how
two young
upsetting and
children.
scary must that be for the
the
children as
children.
well?
Could also be someone you wouldn't have even chosen. Actually,
Yeah.
That's so
forward.
true because
Yeah.
we're all so different.
Yeah.
You know, it's not guaranteed that you'd want your children brought up by
Might
your
not be a
in-laws
family
or your
member. No,
parents
it
or
might
your
even be a
sister or-
friend.
Yeah.
You know, you might think actually my friend's values are much
more
better
aligned
or more
with
aligned
me,
with me
yeah.
than my family's are. So you might nominate a friend, but you might have two sets of grandparents that come forward and say, well, actually, we'll look after the children. And it might not even be the person that you actually want it to be.
Yeah.
Because I know we're godparents to so many children. I'm like, we'll have to have a flat.
I'll need an
Or
extension.
flats and, you know, loads
Yeah.
of... But
It doesn't work like
it's
that,
not,
does it?
when you're a godparent, though you think it means you will look after... That's,
Legal
again,
status,
is
no.
not, is it?
If you go anywhere with your child, they say you parent or legal guardian. So
Yeah.
they're the only two
That's
options
always
you've
the
got.
question, isn't
yeah,
it?
so as a legal guardian, unless you're nominated as a guardian in the will, unfortunately, you're not going to fall into that category. So it is, you're relying on either the right person stepping forward, but actually the courts to decide on who's going to take care of your
Right,
children.
your children.
Yeah, when
Just write that
actually,
down.
just take that first step, take half an
Yeah.
hour to put that guardianship clause in your will, because actually a lot of the time you might find you've not actually had that conversation with your partner.
No,
or
that's,
yourselves
that's true.
to actually
yeah.
make that choice to
Yeah.
decide who's going to take care of your children. It's huge.
Yeah.
You know, when you
Yeah.
actually think about who you want to take care of your children, it's such a big, important decision.
Yeah.
And when those children are older, but perhaps they're only just 18 when something terrible happens, you can be in control of how much money they get. Because do you, if they're 18, are they legally meant to get all the money if
Yes.
their parents die?
Yeah, so if you don't have a will or you do your will but stay 18 legally, they're going to inherit everything at the age of 18.
Which is so young.
Which is so young. Yeah, gosh, I'd have spent all of that if I was 18.
My son's just
back
turned
then.
18.
Oh,
I
God.
really,
Could you
I
imagine?
wouldn't expect him to be able to have a large
lot,
sum of
isn't
money
it,
at
to
this
put-
age. Yeah.
One, to put on an 18-year-old,
Yes.
but also
Yes.
what, and then at 18, I don't think you actually understand what you want to do with that money. And I think as parents, you've got wishes for what you want your children to spend that money on. It could be property,
Yeah.
it could be education.
Yeah.
You know, but at 18, making that choice for yourself is a lot. And a lot of clients tend to actually go older, don't
Yeah,
they?
they
They'll
do.
go 21, 23,
Right.
sometimes even older. But 21, 23 tends to be the age range that
Or
our
could they
clients
split it, give them a
choose.
bit at 18 perhaps for college, then a bit when they're
Yeah,
sort of
massively.
25 perhaps going towards a property? And
Yeah, and that's the beauty again of writing your own will. It's your
Yeah.
choice. We can put anything you want to in there. We can split it half at 18 if you wish to, half at 25. It's your choice, and that's the whole point. Is you're taking control and saying, this is what I want to happen, worst case.
because none of that is in your control unless you write a legally binding will.
Rules of intestacy doesn't cover for any of that. The government will does not cover. It's not personal at all.
And though you might be sat at home thinking, oh, well, we've spoken about Sean and Hayley, they're not married, but we are married, and so it'll be fine for us. That's not the case either, is it? Even if
No.
you're married and you've told all the family exactly what you want to happen, what you want to happen doesn't happen unless it's written in a legally binding will.
Yeah, so a lot of people will say we're married, so it's all going to pass to each other. But actually, it's only the first 322,000 that passes. And people might be sat there going, 322,000, that's a lot of money. But
That
what's your
can't be
property
just yet.
worth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your car worth? What other valuables do you have at home? Might be heirlooms, but they could be of high value. Bank accounts, pensions, life insurances. When you actually sit back and add it all together,
Yeah. You don't realise.
if you've got anything over that, it's actually then split between your spouse and children.
God.
So there's these things that you don't actually take into account.
And then it's bloodline with your children as well, isn't it? Because there's a lot
it
of
is.
families now, and you're looking at the government will, which was written over, 100 years ago. They've
Yeah,
celebrated
yeah.
their 100th birthday.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it would have worked back then, but it'd be a bit closer perhaps but that can't be right for anybody. Because if now so many are married, they've had partners from different relationships.
Second marriages, third marriages, mixed families.
And that government will definitely not work for them, will it?
It won't, no. There has to be something there, obviously, but it's not going to take
Yeah, because you think, well, that's so wrong. But
there'd be anarchy if we didn't have anything.
There has to be something.
Yeah.
There has to be some sort of control.
There has to be something, which is why that government will does exist. But you're right, if, you know, society nowadays, it's not uncommon for us to speak to clients where they are on their second or third marriage. Yeah. They have got children from previous relationships and children together maybe. But, for example, if we've got, I'll use Mr. and Mrs. Smith again, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and let's just say, for example, their estate is under that 322,000 and Mr. Smith passes away, it all goes to Mrs. Smith. Now, they're a family unit, they've got 2 children each, but they've brought them up together, they don't see themselves as anything different. So everything's gone over into Mrs. Smith's name. Now, she also hasn't got a will, so by the government will, the next question is, do you have children? Yes, but it's bloodline children. So once Mrs. Smith has then passed away, it's going to pass directly down her bloodline only to her 2 children. So the 2 stepchildren that she had have actually been disinherited from anything their father's and stepmother's estate. Now, a lot of clients will come to us and say, oh, you know, our children, they've got a really good relationship, so they'll take care of each other.
It'll be okay.
Yeah, and we all love to think that's going to happen.
Situation to put your children in.
Yeah.
Oh,
that responsibility.
If someone's in debt or something, it's going to get, you know, there's so many things that might be going on in the world.
You also don't know what
family breakups.
their partners might say.
Yes,
that's a whole
true.
different thing, isn't it?
There's so much more to it, and that government will doesn't take that into account at all. It's simply yes or no, bloodline. But there's so much more now in society with regards to families. We need provision for all of these. And if you haven't done that, all it takes, like I say, pick up the phone, send that text, have that half-an-hour conversation with us. If you don't enjoy the conversation for whatever reason, you don't like the advice that's been given, or you think, you know what, this isn't just for me, you can have your money back. You've got nothing to lose.
So you've got that complete peace of mind that you're going to sit down, have a chat, discuss it all. If it's not right, you can have your money back. The fact is, when you sit down and chat to the team, it's like chatting to friends. They become friends. And you think, oh, gosh, it's such a weight off your shoulders. You don't realise, I don't think, until you've actually written a will.
No. And
you think, thank goodness I've done that.
Like Charlotte said, and like we've said throughout the show, it is about taking that first step and just getting the ball in motion, isn't it?
We're really rubbish at that, aren't we? And I think
because we watched it. You might be watching at home and thinking, oh, I should do that, I'll do it tomorrow. And then you forget.
Do it now.
Or life gets in the way because
before
we've all got so much going on.
Well, it'll be Christmas, it'll be spring, it'll be summer, and then all of a sudden it's a year later, and then that year later could be too late. And you would be kicking yourself, wouldn't you? If you were looking down, watching a family fall out, that you'd told your family what you wanted to happen with what you've worked so hard for. Perhaps there's people you don't want to have things, you know, and perhaps there's people you really do want to. It might be friends rather than family. You're in control of it if you write a legally binding will. But sadly, if you pass without that, it will go to that government will. Whatever you've told family and friends, it will go to the government will, and that government will is not what you would want to happen. It's not right for anybody then.
And there's so many misconceptions, like we said, about common law husband and wife, about someone saying to you, but I've told everyone, it'll be okay, I've told them. If it's not written down in that legally binding document.
Or there is a story about a gentleman, he had a neighbour, looked after him for years, and he said, I'm going to give you my house is yours when I go. And he had written it down on like just a bit of paper, hadn't he?
Written it down on a piece of paper, but again, if it's not been done correctly, witnessed and signed, it's not actually legally binding. So again, there are these templates, and clients will say we've written a will, but unless you have done it professionally, you've had that advice, it's not guaranteed. So that this gentleman had written down on a piece of paper, he had a neighbour who was a really close friend, lived there for years, known each other for years, didn't have a spouse, didn't have any children, distant family, but he wanted everything to go to this friend, and everyone in the neighbourhood knew that. They were really close for years, cared for him, I think, actually, in the end as well. Right. And when this gentleman passed away, unfortunately, this piece of paper wasn't a legally binding document, and the friend that obviously he wanted to inherit didn't. It actually did go to some second nephew or distant nephew, I think he was in America, that we had to locate to inherit, who that wasn't his wish.
No.
And everyone knows that's not his wish. We knew that wasn't his wish, but unfortunately, without actually having that legal binding document, it's not going to happen. And we all know we're going to need to use a will. It's inevitable at the end of the day. So by putting it in place, you know that what you want to happen is going to happen. It takes that half-hour conversation.
And it's never too early because we just don't know what's round the corner anymore.
No, exactly. And I think a lot of clients as well will say, oh, I'll wait until this happens, or I'll wait until I've got married, I'll wait until I've had children. You know, I'll wait until I've bought this house. There's always an excuse. But things can change, things will change. You can update your will. We do offer an aftercare service as well.
We had friends, and the reason they hadn't done a will, and we talk to everybody now. We
don't know what's going.
We're terrible now, aren't we? Don't invite us for dinner. We're like, have you got a will? Because we've learned how important it is. And we were just discussing shows and things that we did on Shop on TV, and they're like, oh no, we haven't got a will. We were like, you're joking, you haven't got a will. And they're like, ours is just too complicated. They were like,
oh, we hear that all the time.
And it's never going to be too complicated for you, is it? Because that's all you deal with. It's
actually worse when clients come and say, oh, it's going to be really easy.
Oh, how funny.
Oh, are you sure? That's when complicated ones tend to be the easier.
How funny.
But no, genuinely, there's nothing we can't help with. We have seen every scenario. There is nothing that we can't put in writing for you that will achieve what you want to. Please don't ever think something's going to be too complicated. Come and have that conversation, because I can guarantee you we'll be able to write it up for you and how you want it to be written, and it will achieve what you want it to achieve. There's nothing that's too complicated.
And Emma, simpler law, this is all you do, isn't it? You specialise in estate planning.
All we do is specialise in estate planning and wills.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have won numerous awards.
Now,
you are.
well mentioned, because you've got another award recently.
We have.
That we're going to pop up on the screen for you.
Yeah.
And this is something to be really proud of, isn't it, Charlotte?
Absolutely.
Yeah, massively. We're really proud of this. So we work really hard, and yes, the award is great, but it's mainly the fact that our clients are happy, and we see that on our Trustpilot reviews as well. But it's all down to everyone that behind the scenes. You know, we have the consultants that are on the phone, we've also got the will writers, we've got the administration department, we've got the probate team as well that work as the executors. So yeah, we're really, really proud of that.
And it's exactly what you do. That's all that they do.
You wouldn't come to us for anything else.
No, you're experts in this.
Experts in the field. It's the same as anything, you know, if you've got a bad tooth, you're going to go to the dentist.
Yeah.
You're going to do it yourself, are you?
Yeah, if something's wrong with your car, you could attempt to do it yourself. As we say with templates of wills, I would never try and do that. My dad's taught me how to change a tyre, and that is it.
Oh my word. I just had to put air in my tyre the other day, and I was like, oh my God. It's going down, it's going down. It's really complicated.
It went down instead of up.
I'd set the right number, but in the right, I don't know, there's different types. Bar and all this. I've got it now. But yeah, that's the thing. When you don't know what you're doing,
you can do it wrong.
Why would you do it? So
it's not worth risking.
It's not worth risking.
And you might sit there thinking, well, what do I actually have? But what you have is important to you. So whatever that is, whether it is property, whether it is cash, whether it is just heirlooms, whether it's going to family, friends, or even a charity, this is all about it being your choice. And it's what's important to you, because at the end of the day, it's going to happen. So make sure it's your wish.
I love it's your document. It's your document.
And you make it so easy. You sit down, you chat through everything. Sometimes you don't even realise what you've got. You might be at home thinking, well, I haven't got anything. But then just write down what you have got. You probably own your house, you own a car. It might be your pets that you really want to make sure they're looked after.
It might be that clock that you want to go to.
Or it's perhaps your engagement ring. Or perhaps you've got your mum's wedding ring, and you want to make sure that what you've worked so hard for, what is yours, goes to who you want it to go to. Because sadly, if you haven't written, and I know we say this 100 times, but we didn't know this, and I think this is why a lot of people don't get round to, or one of the reasons why you don't get round to writing a will is you think, well, I've told everybody. They know what I want to happen. Obviously, we've been together 34 years. Of course, what's mine is Sean's, what's Sean is mine. But if we hadn't written it down legally, with a legally binding will, the government will fall in place. There is a will written for you if you haven't written your own, and it's the government will. And you honestly won't want it because it's 100 years old for a start. And how can one will be right for absolutely everybody?
Wouldn't be relevant to us four around
No.
the table, and that's
None
the
of
four
us.
of us.
None of us,
No, we've never ever written a will that has followed the government will, ever. So it's so important just to come and make that choice for
and
yourself.
so affordable as well. We've got some more reviews we want to share with you because, as Charlotte told us, the people
Yeah.
who you deal with.
They've won a great award, but I think
Yeah.
you won the award, obviously Simpler Law
It's
did,
down.
but actually Charlotte, you did, and Liam, he did, and it's all the people that people deal with.
It's the team.
Yeah, you've got an amazing team.
Amazing team, yeah. And the beauty of Simpler Law as well, that we do everything in-house ourselves. So everything is
Nothing's
drafted, drawn up.
outsourced.
No, nothing is outsourced. It's all done in-house with us. But yeah, the team are great. They're on the end of the phone now at the
They're
moment.
ready,
but
they're waiting.
They're ready and waiting.
Give them a
but
call.
yeah,
I think they're very busy already. But when you look at the 5-star reviews, you'll understand when we say it is the team that is so special, because everybody writes about the person that they dealt with, because they do really become a friend.
Yeah, let's take a look at a couple of the reviews for you. This one, first of all, my experience from start to finish was fantastic. They made me feel at ease with something that isn't easy to do for anybody. Jack, there we go, is a credit to the company. He helped me to sort the problems I had and was happy to answer any questions I had. That one from Eunice there. Next one from Lisa. Brilliant service from Michael at Simpler Law. Helpful, professional and friendly. Answered all our questions and gave us time to think when we needed it. Will, all sorted and much easier than we thought it would be. Thank you, Michael. I'll be recommending to friends. That's Lisa again, that one. And Julie said this: after making an appointment, I spoke to Sam about making a will. He phoned bang on time and was informative, knowledgeable and helpful. He was patient, listened to my questions and made the whole process very easy. He was polite and courteous and a credit to Simpler Law. All round excellent customer service. And we're so quick to write bad reviews, aren't we? To read good reviews like that. Especially with something that's so important, I think is brilliant. And the offers are brilliant as well that we've got for you. Whether it's a will or a lasting power of attorney that you're looking for, let's look at those offers, because we've got extra discounts, but only until close of business on Friday.
I think there's a few things that put you off perhaps writing a will. We are rubbish at taking the first step for a start. We're going to make that really easy for you tonight. I think we think it's going to be really complicated, and we've just proven the point, especially with those 5-star reviews, that it really is made so simple by Simpler Law. And then the other thing is, I think we think it will be really expensive. It's law, isn't it? It's going to cost thousands. Well, actually, to know that what you've worked so hard for is going to go to the people that you really want it to go to, £249, I think, is an excellent price. However, our price that should be is £99 to get that legally written will. But you've got an extra 10% off. Now, that extra 10% is only till close of business on Friday. The deal, will go back up in price. So rather than £249, £89 is your price. If you get in contact before close of business, do it now, otherwise you'll just forget. Yeah. And then you've got 4 payments. You can split that cost over 4 payments. So actually, that first payment, £22.25. How often do you spend? You popped in the supermarket for a pint of milk and ended up spending £40. How much did you spend on coffee? A week, I bet over £22.25. Who was telling us the other day, £7 for a coffee?
That was Paul, our director.
Absolutely. £7, 6p for it. I would have cried. And you've got a legally binding will in place with Simpler Law for just £89, but actually splitting that cost to £22.25. Now, the lasting power of attorney, which we will go into detail about again, that's another incredible deal.
Yeah, it should be £349. The offer price, £199, but with that extra special 10% discount, those prices, like we say, until close of business on Friday, £179 for a lasting power of attorney is such a good price. $44.75 on your first of 4 interest-free payments there. If you want to spread the cost, that option is there for you. If you do want the biggest saving of all, though, if you want the will and lasting power of attorney, should be almost £600. £598 comes down to £269, but an extra 10% off there as well brings it down to £242. That's just £60.50 on your first of 4 interest-free payments there. The other bonus, if you are the first 250 clients who you get in touch, you will receive this fabulous book. It's called What My Family Should Know. It basically is one place to keep all your information. So you're not hunting around the house when you do lose someone. It's not just about assets and pensions.
It's finding all the secret places, isn't it? The cardboard boxes where they've hidden this and that. And it's more complicated than that now because so much is on tablets and phones. So passwords are on here. Pensions, like Sean said, you perhaps don't know all the jobs your mum and dad had, how many pensions they had. It's all, everything you need to know is in that book. And actually, it's really nice for yourself to sit and write this all down. I think it makes you really understand.
It's quite cathartic, isn't it, to write down all that information?
What you have got, because I think sometimes we think, oh, I haven't got anything, and then when you actually put a pen to paper, you really have got so much. So all written in that book, and those books, first 250 people. And remember, so easy to get in contact, whether you want to ring, whether you want to go via the website, whether you just want to text. And we'll put that page in that gives you all the details. Take a photo of this page, but remember, do it before the close of business on Friday for the prices that you've seen today. Go onto the website, simplerlaw.co.uk/shop on TV. Jump onto the phones, the team are there right now. You might want to ask a couple of questions. They will, you can, but they are there just to get your detail. You don't need to know anything, just to say, I want to do a will, I want to do a lasting power of attorney, or just to secure the deal. You might change your mind and think, well, I'm going to do both. As long as you've secured the deal, you will get the prices we've shown you. So that's 0333 600 to 600. But the most popular, and there is no excuse not to do this, it makes it so easy, is text.
Yeah, the texting service is brilliant. You don't have to speak to anyone. You just text the word WILL, WILL, to 66777. We get so many texts on these shows, and you don't have to worry about having any documentation, knowing anything. You're just securing those offers, and then the team from Simpler Law will get back in touch with you. Won't be first thing in the morning, don't worry. They will get back to you after about 12 o'clock tomorrow.
And the nice thing is, what you've done is secured all the deals by getting in contact. But also, even if you're thinking, oh gosh, because I think we're good at putting things off, aren't we? You might think, oh, we go away on Wednesday, we're going on holiday for 2-3 weeks.
Can't do it now.
It doesn't matter. Secure those prices. When you speak to the team, say, I'm a bit busy. And what they're getting in contact with you is to find the right time to sit down and chat through everything. And that's what it is. It's a chat through everything.
And it's not hours on end either. That's the other thing.
They make it so easy. If you're like me, I'm the biggest worrier. Absolutely drive you crazy worrier. My mum, even worse than me. They make it so easy. I never ever, because we did our lasting power of attorney for mum, which we're going to go into the detail of that, through Simpler Law before they worked with us here on Shop on TV. And I'm really worried about not knowing things, saying the wrong thing, not perhaps understanding and not wanting to ask that question because I feel daft. Not at any point did I feel I couldn't ask a question. At any point did I feel daft. It was just a sit down and a really nice, easy chat. And we didn't, though we'd really tried to think about things, we didn't really even need to do that because Simpler Law talk the answers out of you, really. It's so easy.
Yeah, it's such a hand-holding service. That's the great thing about it. Now, we are going to go into more detail on lasting power of attorney for you. If you've heard of that term and you're not quite sure what it is, the team will explain exactly what it is and how important it is to have
I think sometimes awfully, and this is why we had heard about lasting power of attorney, is, Charlotte, you hear about it when it's too late.
Yeah, we get those too late phone calls, which we don't look forward to. The whole point of the power of attorney is you put it in place whilst you've got capacity. So now, you hope you never need it, but if life does throw you that curveball and you do have a freak accident or ill health and you lose your capacity, you know that you've got a power of attorney in place, which will allow someone to step in and act for you.
There's sadly so many awful diseases now, isn't there, like dementia and so many different things, hearing things on the news today.
Yeah, we listened to an article today.
If you haven't got lasting power of attorney, for a loved one, for a parent, for a partner, for a husband, you think you can automatically step into their shoes, don't you, Emma? But that's actually not the case, is it?
Not the case at all. Doesn't matter if you're married, doesn't matter if you're a, mother, father, daughter, son, I couldn't go into my husband's bank account right now and ask them, can I take some money out? They would just point blank say no, I'm not him.
If he's not well, it's got to be protected.
They're protecting him, yeah.
Because I presumed, I look after mum now, I go to the bank with mum and, I help her right now. So you just think, of course I could do that. But like you say, it's not the case.
Well, the thing that fell into place for us was when Hayley was out with her mum at the bank. and she was literally sat over there. And
I sat Mum down because we've been walking around town, but she was, over there. And they said, well, where is your Mum? And I said, she's just there. Well, she'll have to come to the counter. So I went and got.
But it wasn't even that
to
you
the
were
counter.
taking money out, was
No,
it?
we were putting a cheque in.
Yeah,
And we put the
no,
put the cheque in, and my mum needed some more because my mum's
Slips,
not
you
with
want the
credit
banking
cards. We
slips.
needed some
Right.
slips. I said, could you order some more slips? And they went, have you got any form of identification? I went, well,
Yeah,
that's
data
my bum. And they're like, has she got a passport? I'm like, no, we're shopping in
But
town.
it's
Why would
right,
she have a
it's
passport?
right.
But
This is the thing.
it is right.
It is right, isn't it?
Because
Yeah.
you can't. They can't suddenly allow you to take control
No.
of anything, really.
No, exactly. We want that protection in place, don't
Of
we?
course.
But it's that assumption that we will
You
be
could
able
just
to
do it,
act as
yeah.
well. So
Yeah.
I think
It's a real misconception, isn't
Yeah.
it? And there are two types of lasting power of attorney, Emma.
There are. So you've got your property and affairs, and you've got your health and welfare.
So let's look at property and affairs first. With this, we can do so much, can't we?
We can. So we can still continue to claim pensions, any sort of benefits or allowances.
And you'd
anything like
need that, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Obviously.
definitely. It's going to help you pay the bills, isn't it? And again, talking about bills, you can pay the household bills because your name might not be on the bill. It might be your partner's
Yeah.
name on the bill. Things like managing investments, dealing with the HMRC, dealing with your property if you own a property, so buying or selling or anything like that.
Which you might need to sell to pay for a care home or
Exactly.
something
Yeah,
like that. But
yeah.
if you haven't got lasting power of attorney, you can't control any of those things.
You can't,
Even if it was your
sadly.
husband.
No, we just assume that, but of course not at all.
And what it says at the bottom of the screen there, I think explains it brilliantly. Essentially, you choose someone you trust to manage your affairs, and in the eyes of the institutions and companies that they deal with, they become you. I think that's really clear, isn't it? It's really straightforward.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the person you choose.
Doesn't have to be a
you
relative.
choose, yes.
Could be a friend.
Can be a friend, can be a relative,
Someone you trust. isn't it?
anyone you trust.
And it can be more than
absolutely.
one person if you want.
Yeah, you can have, up to 4 if you wanted.
So you could have your son and your daughter, couldn't you,
Yeah.
if you wanted to?
Absolutely.
And so that's the first one.
Yeah, this is what we went to Simpler Law for, is to do the sort of financial side of things. But then as we were sat down just chatting like we were, you mentioned there was a second lasting power of attorney. And when you explained this, I was like to Mum, we've got to do this as well, because I think, I don't know if it's more important to me actually, or as important as the finance, is the health side of things.
I think this one's just really, really important. It's the emotional side of it, isn't it? So you can oversee medical care, you can decide where they're going to live, even down to daily routines, what they're going to eat, what they're going to wear, and managing medication. I think that's a really, really important.
Things that would be completely out of your hands.
Yeah.
And I know, and you never know when anything's going to happen. I know what we did, what was wrong is thought lasting power of attorney you don't need till you're old.
yes.
And we so wrong.
Yeah.
My best friend was in an accident 10 years ago, so in her 40s. And gosh, lasting power of attorney so important. And for those sort of things, she's vegetarian.
Yeah.
She likes to have her nails
Those
polished.
personal things.
We take
the
those for
clothes.
granted, don't
Yeah.
we? We get up in the morning, we pull back the cover, we carry on about our day, we get
Yeah.
our nails done, we do all these really nice things that are just our day-to-day.
routine.
And it'd be
Yeah.
horrendous
Actually-
to see your loved one in clothes you know they wouldn't wear.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you know they like the hair
Eating, giving them a meal that was meat, and you know
Yeah.
they're vegetarian.
Yeah, it's what makes that, makes you, doesn't it? It's really, really personal. So by having that document in place, your loved ones actually have the right to be able to do that for you, because I think it's important to them as well. If it was my mum, I know for a fact that she'd want to have her hair done. She loves purples and reds in her hair. So I know that she'd want to have that done. If I had to watch her not be able to do that, it makes that situation more difficult.
Yeah, definitely.
So
And what does happen? So either of the lasting powers of attorney,
Yeah.
if something did happen, and you were like, well, I want to be able to do that. What do you have to do? Because
If
like
it's
the
not in
will,
place.
there's a government will. In
Yeah.
a way, there's a bit of a government lasting power of attorney in a way.
In a way, yeah. Unfortunately, it is too late. Once someone's lost capacity, you can't then put the powers of attorney in place. So that's why it is important to do it now. So once you've done it, you can put it to the side. But yeah, if you've lost your capacity at that point, the only route you've got is to apply for what's called the Court of Protection.
And, well, we can see the costs here on
And
screen.
anybody can apply for this.
Yeah.
So it might be somebody you don't want to.
It might be someone you wouldn't actually want to
But
apply.
if you know you really are the right person, and it's your mum, your husband, your loved one, you've got to find this money.
Yeah, because bearing in mind you can't access that person's account.
So this is
your money you've got to use. Yeah, and this is if you do it on your own. So on here you can see you've got the application fee, £421, assessment fee, £100, the hearing fee. Now that supervision fee there, £320, that's annually. So the rest of it might be a one-off fee. And as I say, that's if you do it yourself. That's with no professional help.
Right.
So doing it yourself, that's your money, that's your time, because obviously you're still working.
And having to know what to do with all those big
Exactly
documents.
right, yeah. And as I say, that supervision fee is annually, so that's ongoing. And by going through this court of protection, it's actually really restricted as well. So you are actually managed whilst you're doing that by the courts. So it's not as free as it would be if you had the powers of attorney in place already. But not only the cost that you see on the screen there, it's the time that you're actually taking to go through. At the minute, it's taken on average a year.
What to actually be told that it is open?
On average, I've actually seen it take longer than that for some clients.
So you've wasted a year of time that you'd rather been sat by your loved one.
Time with your loved one, your own money, and in worst case scenario, if it has taken a year or longer, you might actually well have lost that person.
Oh, that's
in the meantime, and not been able to act for them during that. So in a time that's already so difficult, you may not have lost that person, but they're ill, they're unwell. You're actually having to make it more difficult because you're having to apply through the court of protection and go through all these documents, fees. You may even pay someone professional to do it, but you've still got that outlay and you might not even get the end result. So these documents are so powerful. They're really, really important. And like I say, once you've got them, that's it. Put them away. They're there for life.
They're a bit like, they're not an insurance, but they are a bit, we insure so many things, don't we?
So many things.
Just in case.
A what-if document.
Yeah,
what if, that's what we like to
that's
call them, because, yeah, if you had a crystal ball and you knew what was going to happen, you'd put these together in a heartbeat, especially for the cost.
Yeah.
You'd put them together now. We don't know what's going to happen. We like to think, you know, we're all going to live our lives. We're not going to need to go into care. We're not going to be in those difficult situations. But you just don't know. And as you say, it's not just elderly. We've had clients, I've had parents that have approached us and said they've had to apply through the court of protection for their children.
Yeah.
Because it could be a freak accident. So just putting these documents in place is another selfless act, similar to a will, protecting your family and knowing that you're going to be cared for by people that you want to be cared for by. So really, really important documents. Pick up that phone and make that first step. And once you've done it, I promise you, you won't regret it. No one ever regrets putting
Again,
power of
that
attorney
weight.
in place.
It is, when we did mums, it is a weight off your shoulders, and then you just forget about it. You know, it's there. You know it's there if you need it. I never think about it.
No, well,
but
think
you
about
know
all
you've
these
done it.
Direct debits you're paying out for policies that you're paying at the moment. You've said about your mum's dishwasher, but we insure phones, we insure pets, we insure all these material things. But then when it comes to actually our family and friends, people that we love, although I know it's not an insurance policy, but you're protecting those people. So it's really, really important.
And again, you're the right people to go to, because this is what you deal in, is wills, lasting power of attorney. I can't come to you for a divorce.
No, I wouldn't know anything about that. It's the same. I took my car to the garage yesterday, and this gentleman was trying to tell me about the engine, and I was sat there thinking, this is going over my head. I don't know anything about this.
No idea.
Just take my money and do what you need to do with it. But it's the same thing. You wouldn't come to us for anything else. We specialise in this field. It's all we do. It's all done internally, so we don't outsource any work. So yeah, just pick up the phone and take that first step. I promise you, you won't regret it. And if you do, worst case, we'll give you your money back. You've got nothing to lose.
So that's great peace of mind, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing to worry about.
Take that first step, and I promise you, every client that we speak to, come off the phone, it's a weight lifted off your
It's a weight,
shoulders.
yeah.
It's all you do. Professional services. I know you carry
Amazing
massive
Trustpilot.
insurance.
We do, yeah. We have professional indemnity insurance as well. So you're not going to get that if you go out and find a template or write a document yourself. So we do cover you. Worst case, we've touched wood.
We've never had
Never used it.
Yeah, never used
That
it.
is fabulous,
But
isn't it?
the point is that it's there and you're protected, and you know your loved ones are protected should you need it.
And if anyone, like you say, isn't happy, changes their mind, they get full.
You can have your money
full
back.
refund.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got
Absolutely.
absolutely nothing to lose.
Nothing to
I can
lose.
guarantee you won't.
You
Once you've
won't.
spoken to our consultants, you'll know that you've done the best thing possible. And you know that your loved ones are protected then. It's such a peace of mind.
So many 5-star reviews, award-winning as well.
Award-winning, yeah.
Really
Very
an
proud of
incredible company to deal with. You want to know you've done it right. Just like Charlotte was saying, you don't try and fix your own car, you don't try and fix your own tooth. You'll go to the dentist for your tooth. Went to the dentist today.
You did?
Very pleased. I only had to get a tick from the dentist about
The only person I know who's got 2 dentists. Goes to hers and mine.
Second opinion.
But you do. I wouldn't try and do it myself. And so if you are thinking about writing a will, if you are, lasting power of attorney, do it legally binding, do it with our incredible prices, and do it with a company that you know is going to do it right. And we know that from all those amazing 5-star reviews. But look at your prices. The biggest thing I think one of the biggest things we worry about, and we thought it was going to cost a fortune, but didn't actually even look to see how much it cost.
No, we didn't even know.
To do a will.
We just presumed, didn't we?
Yeah, and completely wrong. To know that everything you've worked for, everything you possess, your house, your car, your personal belongings, that ring, that family heirloom, you know who you want it to go to. If you haven't written a legally binding will, it's not going to go to those people. It will go, the government will fall in place, and it's not what you want to happen. And actually all you needed to spend today is, £22.25 actually, because that's the first of your payments. But even at £249, it's worth every single penny of that. You know what you want to happen is going to happen. But actually, our regular price is £99. You have, up until close of business on Friday, got extra money off as well. So actually, your deal today is £89. So you have got that price today. Please grab it whilst it's there. It is a special time limited offer up until close of business on Friday. But the great thing is you can split that cost as well. So actually, it's 4 payments of £22.25. And I say it every time, but I think it makes you understand how little this is to do so much. What do you spend on coffee? That one coffee. What do you spend on coffee a week? I mean, this is money so well spent, and that's your will. But we have just been talking about lasting power of attorney, and again, we've got a fabulous price on that.
Yeah, the offers across the board are excellent from Simpler Law. Lasting power of attorney, if you want to take advantage of that offer, it should be £349. It was supposed to be on offer at just under 200 at 199, but Simpler Law have offered us that extra discount until close of business on Friday. It's 179. With those 4 interest-free payments, it's just £44.75 on your first 4 interest-free payments. And Hayley always says if you equate it to real-life things, a takeaway or takeaway at the weekend, is it £44.75? Ours isn't. I wish it was.
Ours is more than that for 2 people.
I know.
It's crazy. And then we have got as well will and lasting power of attorney. Now, you might have already got in contact. You might have already secured these deals. But when you spoke to them on the phones, you said you just wanted the will. As long as you get in contact, I would say right now, but up until close of business on Friday, you'll secure all these deals. So even if you've only mentioned the will so far, but now you want to do the lasting power of attorney as well, you can do. They will still accept that great price, because should be £598. Normally we'd do a great deal at £269, but you have got the extra 10% off, so £242 up until close of business on Friday. Remember, you can split that cost to 4 payments, £60 and 50p. And we went to London this weekend. A round was more than that. We'll spend money elsewhere. These are really important things. And don't forget, the first 250 people, and these always go, and everyone's going, can I buy one? Can I buy one? This is a great book, What My Family Should Know. And this, Charlotte, it is a fabulous book with really important information in, isn't it?
Amazing, yeah. It's really, really popular as well. But this came from our estate administration department. So essentially, this is the information you want to get together when you're administering someone's estate.
So when someone's passed, this is the information.
Exactly right.
It's all in one place.
And it's all in one place, yeah, because people have papers. They
boxes,
might have notes, boxes,
special secret places.
Yeah, and obviously we're in a digital world now, so you need passwords to get onto anything.
So things like your phone, your tablet, your computer, your laptop.
Yeah, massively. And no one sits down and has that conversation, do they, about their pensions, their life insurances, what you've got where. So by putting it all in this book, it's all together. But we know for a fact that there's over £5 billion worth of pension pots that have been sat there unclaimed.
Because people
So the people have died, but they supposedly don't know where it should go. So it's just sat there because no one's claimed it.
Yeah, parents that have had pensions from when they first started work.
Because you wouldn't know. I couldn't tell you all my dad's jobs from
exactly.
Sort of 17 or 16, that, you know, from whenever they started
Yeah, and
working.
you've got to dig as an executor and try and find that information out. And obviously we do that as part of a role as well, which is where this book has come about. But £5 billion worth of pension parts, over £2 billion worth of life insurance policies. Because again, you might not have known that your partner or spouse or parent had put a life insurance policy in place.
No.
And with things being now digital, if you can't get onto that account or even know that account exists, they just sit there. And it's all money that hasn't been claimed that families are missing out on because they haven't written things down. And there'll be bank accounts out there as well with money in that, you know, I've got a bank account somewhere that I think keeps messaging me. It's probably got like 60p in, but you know, there's accounts out there that people will have money in, won't even realise. So yeah, this book is amazing. You can put everything in there. Passwords especially, I think, are really important now with us all having phones and tablets, as you've said before. Yeah, and even things like photos. You know, we all have
things,
backups and iCloud.
They're not in the folders anymore.
No,
you know,
we don't have the albums anymore.
Album, didn't you?
The yellow paper.
That's it. Yeah.
We don't have those anymore. So, you know, if you want to find a certain photo that you know your family member had, without having that password, you won't be able to get onto that account.
So the first 250 who
first 250 will actually
office.
get that with their will, power of attorney, whichever package you choose to take, you'll get one of those for free.
And all you need to do is secure that deal and just get in touch. And there's so many ways to get in touch that are so simple. You can talk to someone, you can not talk to someone. Have a little look, because you can either go straight onto the website, simplelaw.co.uk/shop on TV. Remember, we've got special prices up until close of business on Friday. You can jump onto the phones. They're there right now. I know they have been busy on the phones. 333 600 2600. You might have a couple of questions you might want to ask. They're there. They can do that. But honestly, no information needed tonight. All you need to know is you want to do a will. You want to do a lasting power of attorney. But don't forget as well, you can text. And this is always the busiest. And this is what I would do. You think, well, I don't really want to talk to anybody right this minute. I'm just going to go to bed. I'm just off to work. Just text will to 66777. That's it. It's done. You've secured the deal. You've secured your book. And you can go on with your day, whether that's you going out to work, whether that's you going to bed.
And you've taken that first step.
That's
if
the
you've
biggest
thought about
thing.
writing a will and you just haven't got round to it, you'll hear even more stories as we go through to the end of the show. Why it's so important.
And one day it'll be
will.
too late, and we're very good at putting things off, aren't we? We're very good at, I'll do it tomorrow.
Don't let life
and
get
then
in the way.
Tomorrow has gone, hasn't it? All of a sudden, God, where did this week go? It's Friday already. And then also, all of a sudden we're Christmas, say, I'm not going to do it now. It's too busy. It's Christmas. Then all of a sudden it's spring. Then it's summer holidays. And then the year's gone, and it will come to a point where it's just too late. And don't forget, if you haven't, especially, well, the will or the lasting power, they are both as important as each other. But a will, you know you will definitely need. And if you haven't written a legally binding will, sadly, there is the government will out there that will fall into place, which, hand on heart, will not be what you want to happen. It just won't. It can't be. It was written 100 years ago, and we can't all have one will that's right for us. Remember, if you're used to going through our website to get in touch, you can do that as well.
Yeah, go directly to shopontv.co.uk, scroll down on that homepage and you'll come to our on-screen partners. You'll see Simpler Law there just to the right. Click on there. All those offers are reiterated, whichever you want to go for. Also, the other ways to get in touch if you change your mind and don't want to fill in the form, you want to text, you want to ring, but just fill in those.
I wish the school exams were as easy as that. I would have.
We wouldn't be sat here if we were.
100%. Said that to my dentist today, actually. I said I should have got a skill. There you go. You can see there, really easy to fill that out. And then it's done. Again, you've secured the prices you've seen. They're secure. Even if you're going to go away on Wednesday or Friday or in a week's time and you're away for 3 weeks, secure these prices. When the team get in contact with you later, later on today, when you speak to them, say, well, I am away for a couple of weeks, and what they want to know is the right time to sit down.
They'll
and chat
arrange
to you.
it around your schedule.
It's all around you. It's a hand-holding service that is made so simple for you whenever it's the right time for you to do it. What you're doing today is securing those prices. And remember, you've got that extra 10% off as well, which is so important. But do it before the close of business on Friday.
We are going to go back to talking about wills. So if you've just joined us and you want to hear about, is it important that I have a will? Should everyone have a will?
Yes.
Well, yes is the answer.
If you haven't written a legally binding will, there is the government will. Now, we've been together 34 years. We're not married. and we would not get what we would want to happen would not happen. Because sadly, the government doesn't care that we've been together 34 years, longer than perhaps some marriages, wouldn't be bothered. Everybody knows what's mine is Sean's, what's Sean is mine, but actually the government, it would take it elsewhere.
Well, there has to be something in place, as Charlotte always says. And Charlotte, this has been in place for 100 years this year, hasn't it?
It has, 100 years this year.
That's crazy.
And it's just a series of yes-no questions to decide where your money goes, where your assets go.
And even if you've discussed it with your family and said, you know, you're going to have this, and that, the government will still fall in place if you haven't had it legally written down.
Yeah, it's two options. You either write your own will or you get given the government will, which isn't personalised at all. And as you've said, there's 4 people sat around this table right now and we wouldn't all have the same wishes. We've never written a will that has followed the government will.
I don't see how you could.
No, because like I say, it's not personal at all. You've said for your circumstance straight away. As you can see on the screen, the first question is, are you married or in a civil partnership? Yes or no. And it's as basic as that. It doesn't go into, are you in love? How long have you been together?
No.
You know, do your family know where you want it to go?
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
So even if we were married, and I know that's over 100 years old, that government will, life is very different now because, I mean, back then you probably would be married, you probably would have had children. Probably wouldn't have separated. Now, though, lots of families, and they are families, they've got children from different, you know, you've
mixed
got
families,
children from
blended
different
families,
partners, but you see yourself as one big family. The children don't even see themselves as stepbrothers and sisters, they're brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work for those families either, would it?
No, and this is the heartbreaking thing which we see quite often, is that families can be torn apart by the government will just because it doesn't cater for that. So, as you say, if you've got the first question, are you married or in a civil partnership, people now are on first, second, third marriages and children from previous relationships. So, for argument's sake, if you've got my finger puppets, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'm doing an Ian, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So, for argument's sake, everything, when Mr. Smith dies, goes over to Mrs. Smith. Now, that isn't always the case, but we can come back to that subject later. But for argument's sake, Mr. Smith passes away. First question, are you married or in a civil partnership? Yes, over to Mrs. Smith. Now, Mrs. Smith would obviously want everything to go to all 4 children, Mr. Smith's 2 and both of her children. But without a will, rules of intestacy, the next question is, do you have children, yes or no? Now, this is bloodline children. This isn't stepchildren. This isn't...
Oh, gosh, so when she dies, if she hasn't written a will...
When she dies, it passes down her bloodline.
Only
to
her
children.
2
children only, and completely bypasses Mr's children. So this family unit that was set up with mum, dad, 4 children, all brought up together, all know what their wishes are, is torn apart at that point because you're either relying on the biological children to do the right thing, which sounds awful, but when there's money involved, it's a lot to put on your children.
It's more complicated, isn't it? I mean, someone might be in debt and really need that money.
This is the thing.
It might, when they're married, it might be the partner that's saying, oh, you can't. We heard it on the radio a bit back, actually. It was a celebrity, and it was a situation, I can't remember who it was, and it was the same situation, and she hadn't got anything, and she knows that the mother wanted her.
Yeah, and you know, your family can all know what you want to happen, but unfortunately, if you haven't got it written down on paper legally in place, it's going to just follow that government will, and it doesn't take into account any of these scenarios.
You'd be devastated, wouldn't you, if you were looking down, and obviously I don't know what happens, but I like to think that, you know, your loved ones are watching over you. You'd just be devastated, wouldn't you, seeing your family fall apart? And you must see this so much, family breakups, upsets, because already emotions are so high.
Yeah, and we always say that, you know, it's going to be a difficult time when you pass, either way. But by putting a will in place, you're not making it any worse. If you haven't done that and your family's potentially torn apart, what's already a difficult time is made 10 times worse because they've then lost each other. They've had this big breakup, and we see it so often, and all it takes is just picking up the phone, making that first step and putting a document in place.
You can put so much into a will, Emma, can't you? Because it's not, I think we initially, or straight away, think it's money, and you might think, I've got nothing, but do sit down and think you've got your house, you've got your car, you've got a lot more than you actually realise you have got. But it's not just the money side of things that you can put into a will, is it?
No, not at all. So there's lots of things you can do. And again, it's your choice. So you can choose such as your own executors. You can't do that with a government will.
So you can put who you want to be in charge of sort of sorting your will
and
out.
again, that's going to be anyone that you like. You could choose what age your children inherit at. And again, with the government will, that's just 18. And I personally think, you know, maybe that's too young.
Yeah.
Are they
They could
really
have spent it by the time.
But if
Yeah.
it's a huge amount of money and you haven't got that life experience,
That's it. It's a lot, isn't it, to put on somebody. But things like your guardians, I think that's truly important. If you've got children, young children,
so
under
it's
the
who
age.
looks after your
Yes,
children when you're gone.
absolutely,
If they're
yeah.
under 18.
And that could be another family upset, couldn't it? Because that could be
Yes.
both grandparents coming
Yeah.
forward, both sisters from both sides or brothers from both sides saying, I should look after
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
God,
And
it's
again,
expensive.
what strain and pressure that puts on
Yeah.
the children themselves to
Yeah.
see all that upset. It's
And
just-
actually, as a
it's awful
parent, perhaps none of those people are the right people, though you love
Yeah.
them. Perhaps they haven't got the same
the thing.
sort of idea
Yeah.
as you. So
yeah, a lot of the time we actually see clients choose friends
Yeah.
as guardians because they might have the same morals or
Yeah.
you know way of life that they want their children to have compared to family members, or they just might not have the siblings. The siblings might have their own children and they think actually I don't want to add on to that.
Yeah.
And they see them more than their own family. I'm like that with some of
Exactly
my
right.
friends.
Of course.
You know?
What's that
Yeah.
set of friends of the family we choose?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
definitely.
saying,
But
isn't
if
it?
you've not put that clause in your will and made that wish clear, you've got to think all your family members are going to come forward.
Yeah.
Of course they are,
Yeah.
because they're going to want to step in and take that. But then at that same time, they could be arguing about who they think is
That's
right.
it.
And you've got these two children under the age of 18 that have already lost their parents. You're now relying on the right person to step forward, which might not be the right person.
No.
Yeah.
There could be family conflict, and worst case, the children could become ward of the state at that point and
Right.
might not even go.
And I think some
someone.
people think, and we did think this to a degree when we were first godparents and things. You think as a godparent, you take the children in, you look after them. And we're godparents to lots of children. I thought, my goodness, we're going to have a really big house. But that's not the case. Being a godparent, though...
That's religious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not
It is,
legal.
yeah, it's not legally binding at all, unfortunately.
So that's why you always see parent or guardian.
Guardian.
Yeah, when
yeah.
you fill the forms in,
Yeah.
the school
Forms.
forms, the trip
Yeah.
forms, or
Yeah.
the thing, it's parent or guardian.
Parent
You
or legal
can't-
guardian,
doesn't
no.
say
So
God.
unfortunately, everyone does
godparent.
think that godparent will step in, but unfortunately not.
Again, it's
So
another
unless you put it
misconception.
in your will. So guardianship is a really, really important clause, especially for children. You know, we want to protect our children. So yeah, that's a really big one.
And the other thing, Emma, things like specific gifts. It could be jewellery. It could be.
Yeah, it could be
heirlooms.
something that you've got an attachment to, and you really want to pass it to somebody special to you,
person.
somebody dear to you. And
Or it might be that you really don't want somebody to have it.
absolutely, yeah. I mean,
The
we talk
opposite.
about that. You know, you choose who you want to inherit from your estate, but more importantly, you can decide who doesn't inherit from your estate
Right.
as
So
well.
it might be that a broken family.
Yes.
And do you have that quite often? Because I bet a lot of people would be sat at home thinking, oh, I daren't
Yeah.
say, I don't want so-and-so
quite
to have
common.
something.
I hate to say it does come up quite a lot. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's okay.
And when you
because
come
it's
to
your
that's
document.
exactly right, it's your document, and that's the whole point of this, is it's you taking control. There's nothing for you to be worried about, thinking it's too complicated or any shame towards any
God, no.
family dynamic. We're there to help you and write a document that's right for you, and to make sure that you've got peace of mind knowing that when the time comes, everything's going to go where you want it to. And we talk a lot about family and friends, but actually charities are a really big one.
I was
Yeah.
just going to say, I see a lot now about charitable donations.
And
You might
that,
be sat
and
there
that is
thinking, actually-
so important. If
Yeah.
it, in
Yeah.
your heart you want to leave it to a charity, again, that's not going to happen if you don't put it into a legally bound. Even if you've told everybody, you might have told the charity, you know, I want my money. Honestly,
not
I'm going to.
written down.
If it's not written in a legally binding will, it won't. It could go to a long distant relative you never met in Australia, because it will go along the yes/no questions of the government will, and that's really important to charities, isn't it? Because some charity that's all they really get is the money that's given, funded, raised, or
And
from,
we have a lot
from
of
wills.
clients that feel really passionately about it. It might just be that you're giving them a certain gift. It might be that you want everything to go there. So you might be sat at home thinking, actually, I don't want it to go to any family or friends. I really want it to go to this charity. So we can do that as well. But again, it's your choice. It's your document. If you don't have that in place, you're relying on the government will to do something that's not going to be your wish.
I
It's just not worth it.
The other thing to say is it's not as complicated as a process as people might think, because that
No.
was the third thing we thought. It's going to be really expensive. It's going to be really complicated.
And
But
daunting, I think a lot of
and
people
scary.
think so, don't they?
Yeah.
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 I promise you it's not. It's a hand-holding service, which we really pride ourselves on. So right from the beginning, all we're asking you to do today is take that first step. We will do everything else from there. You'll get a pack through email before your consultation, which will tell you what to expect. You still don't need anything. We'll have all of the questions. You will have all of the answers, and we'll do it at your own pace. So whether that be in one sitting, whether it be in two, we might need to call you back. It's not a problem. Sit at home, cup of tea, comfort of your own home. I
That's
promise
great.
you.
And it's
it
so
won't be
nice
daunting.
because you do make it that easy. You become friends,
You
really.
do. You actually will have some fun.
Yeah,
I
well, you do. You do.
You will
have
have fun.
Yeah, you do.
Because you get to know each other.
Yeah.
You're having that
And
conversation.
you really get to know each other, don't you? Really, 'cause
Yeah.
you're chatting about you and your life and your family and
Yeah.
this and that, and it's that peace of mind that it's all done. It's all done so simply without you knowing really anything. All those things that Simple Law needs to know, they really chat that through a
already there.
conversation. Get the
Yeah.
answer.
And we don't just leave it there either. Once you've got your will, we will help you to make sure it is signed,
And signed
correctly
properly, yeah.
and witnessed.
Well-
we offer a free validation service. We will check that it is
That's
done
really
correctly.
important, isn't it? Because it has to have a wet signature, doesn't it?
Yeah, old school
Old-
style.
old
Yeah, it has to have a
Old
wet,
school.
wet signature. You have to have 2 witnesses. They can't be related to you. They can't be in your will. So we make sure that you know all of that information, and we'll guide you through every step until it is signed and legal.
Well, that was a great thing when you did it with your mum. One of the
Yeah.
signatures was wrong, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was. It was my mum's neighbour who we'd lived next to forever. She only moved just recently, and she'd been there all the time. Mum and Dad since they'd moved there. You know, she was a little girl then, and we'd always known her as this name, and only discovered that was actually her middle name when it came to signing documents. And we didn't notice, but you noticed that the
Exactly.
signature was different to the printed name, and it was all
and that
not
could have
quite
affected
right.
the document if
Yeah.
it hadn't been checked properly. So, if you've got a will in place now, or even lasting powers of attorney, check them. Make sure they're still relevant. Make sure they are signed
And if
correctly.
someone has a document and they want to take advantage of these offers, they can still do that. can't they?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely, because things could have changed.
Yeah.
Check that it's still relevant.
Yeah,
to
that's
you.
the thing with wills, isn't it? Because you probably did your will donkeys years ago,
Yeah.
and lots of things have
Lots
changed.
is going to change. I think that's another reason why a lot of people put it off as well. Thinking
Yes.
it's going to change, but things are going to change.
Yeah.
It's always going to be the case.
Inevitably, yeah.
Just
But you
make
can always update.
always update it, and like I say, if you've already got a will, you can still come and take advantage of these offers because we can always write.
And we do an aftercare service as well.
Yeah.
So, somebody can change their will at any point
That's great.
during the aftercare.
No, it's really good peace of mind. For me, when you talk about the Trustpilot reviews,
Yes.
and when you see how people's names are mentioned, it's all the
Really proud of
people
that.
that you deal
Yeah,
with.
but, well, you become friends.
You do.
And you don't deal
really
with lots and
nice.
lots of different people, do you? Are you
Once
assigned
you've got
to one
one
person?
person, you stay with that
Yeah,
person.
exactly.
Yeah.
You stay with that person, so you'll always be related back to them, so they'll know exactly about your estate. You'll know how to contact
I
them
loved it, yeah,
directly.
because sometimes you think, oh, why didn't I ask that?
Yeah.
And I didn't feel embarrassed to email and say, oh, I forgot to ask this. Not at one
No.
point did I think a question was silly.
Never.
And I nearly always come away and say, why did I ask that? That was really stupid. Why did I say? But not at any point did I, because it's all got to be written right, and there's lots of words in legal documents that
There's lots of
we're not
terminology.
going to understand.
Yeah, I mean, for example, we use the term posterpes, which means down the bloodline. Yeah, we'll use that sort of terminology, but we'll explain that to you on the call. So as
Right.
we're going through it, we'll explain what it means.
you
we'll
see
explain
this
why.
word-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right. When you get your will through, we can explain it to you as well.
And this is where mistakes can come, because I know there are, and I know you're not going to like this, but there's like templates, isn't there, that you buy them
There are.
to write your own
You just
will.
fill it in.
Yeah.
They're not always best, are they? You've had a few stories where they've gone a bit wrong.
No, the worst thing with a template is that the intention's there.
Yeah, you
Someone's
know what
gone
you
out
want.
and they know they want to write a will, and they've paid for it, as you say. You've still had to pay for this document, but a template can't give you any advice whatsoever. Our consultants are there to advise you on your circumstances. It's never going to be the same. And we have so many clients that have come, or well, I say clients, families that have come and said, oh, my mum or dad wrote this will, but actually it's either not been signed correctly, it's not been witnessed correctly, and it's not been written correctly either. And we have a term that we use without making it too complicated, which is first and second death. So when first partner dies, for example, it will all go to spouse, and then on second death, passes to children.
Okay.
But if a will isn't written correctly, then it can
So
go
on the
wrong.
first death, it could go to the children before it goes to the
Exactly.
partner.
We've got
You told us a story about an example of that.
We
didn't you,
did.
about those grandparents.
We've got quite a few, yeah, but this one in particular, we had a set of grandparents that had written a template, so had the good intention, had gone out and written it themselves. They'd written gifts to their grandchildren, so it was to any grandchildren at the time, so they'd written £1,000, 20 grandchildren at the time, and there was Mr. and Mrs. They'd written both their wills with the gifts in both of them. Now, what they hadn't understood was the first and second death. So when Mr. passed away, he wanted everything to go to his wife, and then once she passed away, they were leaving gifts to the grandchildren and everything to their children. But the way they'd written the wills was that when Mr. passed away, the gifts were coming out of the estate first. Now, at the time, they obviously only had 3 grandchildren, but when he passed away, there was actually 8. So the gift has now increased dramatically, but not only that, there was no cash in the estate. So the only way this gift was going to go to the grandchildren was from the property. But Mrs. is still alive.
So she'd have nowhere to live.
Yeah, and not only that, because it was in Mrs.'s will, when she passed away, the
get it
gift
again.
was
Get it
going to go
again,
again. Yeah.
And they knew what they wanted, but it was just
They knew what they
written
wanted, it was just
incorrectly.
writing it. Whereas if you've come to a consultant,
Yeah,
you've
an expert,
explained, and we're also there to advise, so we can say, we would recommend that you do it this way, because then once you've both passed away, your grandchildren will get the gifts and the rest will go to
And
children.
that's why you should go to Simpler Law, because Emma, this is all you do, isn't it?
This is all we specialise in, and we've won numerous awards doing it.
Yeah.
And as Charlotte said before, it's a handhold service.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to guide you every step of the way. It's a really easy process. And
I think that's why you won the award. I think
Yeah,
because you make it so easy.
absolutely.
You make it so personal.
Yeah.
Though you must do so many different wills, all the 5-star reviews, they don't mention really Simpler Law. They mention Charlotte.
Yeah.
They mention, you know, John or Luke, or, you know, that it's the people that they dealt with. And you make it so personal every time you deal with
We don't take
someone.
it for granted that everyone we're speaking to, it could be the first time, could be the second time, could be the third time they're writing a will, but it's still important. It's what's important to you, it's your estate. So we don't take that for granted at all.
And you're really proud of those Trustpilots, aren't you?
Massively, yeah, especially with it being named.
There's
yeah.
quite a few.
Everyone loves getting a little shout out, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. And there are some absolutely great 5-star reviews. And like we say, rather than really mentioning Simpler Law, they mention the person that they dealt with, because they make it so personal. They made it so easy. They put you at ease. And I think that's so important.
Let's look at a couple of those reviews. This one, Charlotte gets
This is
a
our
mention.
Charlotte that's with
Our
us.
consultant Charlotte explained everything in clear, unambiguous terms. Pricing was made clear and cooling off period was explained. Consultant was very pleasant and caring, sensitive to our needs. All necessary legal terms were explained in plain, simple English.
Charlotte, can you just mention that cooling off period?
Yeah.
What is that?
So when you have your consultation, you get 14 days if you want to have a refund.
Okay.
Wow.
So if you go through, and that's after the consultation, so any time before that, you
So
still
you
can.
secure the deal tonight, you sort
Secure
out the time
deal.
to sit down and
yeah,
chat.
if you change your mind before, you still get a complete full refund. But when you get to the consultation stage, if you've sat through that consultation, written the will, and you go away, and for whatever reason you might think, actually, this isn't for me, you can have your money back.
That's
That's
great
fantastic,
peace of mind,
isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got nothing to lose today, apart from missing out on the great prices. Remember, the prices are only till the close of business on Friday, and we'll show you those prices again, because I think it's really important to see what saving you've got, but actually to actually see that it's not expensive. I think we automatically think, oh, will it be so
Really
complicated,
expensive, really
so
complicated.
expensive, and it's completely not. We've proven to you it's really simple. Simpler Law do all the hard work. You're just sitting down and chatting. But even price-wise, to think that what you want to happen to everything you've worked so hard for, whether that's your house, your car, whether it's your mum's ring that you've had for all these years and you want it to go to your daughter, whatever it is that you want to happen is only going to happen if you write a legally binding will. Remember, the government will there that will fall in place if you haven't written a legally binding will is not what you want to happen. And actually for just £249, you could have sorted that, but it's even better than that. Our regular sort of discount price when Simple Law join us on Shop on TV is £99. You've got extra discount though tonight or this morning, however you want to look at it. You've got another 10% off. So actually from £249 down to £89. As long as you get in touch before close of business on Friday, you can split that over 4 payments. So just £22.25. And if you have watched for a time, I do say this every time, but I say it because I think it makes you relate that money. How much do you spend on coffee? How much was that coffee? Our director, £7.06 he spent on a coffee the other day. And you're actually writing your will for such an incredible price.
So that's your will. We also have lasting powers of attorney. We are going to go into more detail there about that if you're not quite sure what that is. The lasting power of attorney suggested price of £349. Well, it comes down to £199 on our usual offer, but we are going to give you another 10% off. So the lasting power of attorney comes down to £179. With the 4 interest-free payments, £44.75 on your first of 4 interest-free payments, and offered to you from Simpler Law directly. The best offer of all, though, if you have been watching and you think will and lasting power of attorney, it should be almost £600, down to £269 on the offer, but we've got an extra discount again, remember, but only until the close of business on Friday. So do it right now. Take advantage of the offers, secure those deals. It comes down to £242 or £60.50 on your first of 4
And if you think
payments.
about what you spend on a takeaway, we went to London the other day, and I know it sounds shocking.
You're very bitter.
And it would make me stop drinking. A round was more than that. I was like, really? I was like, with my card.
And we were having the
And
expensive
that's just
things.
for a drink.
Honestly, it's money so well spent. And if you are the first one of the first of the 250 customers that get in touch and secure those prices, so if you've texted in or whether you've phoned or however you got in contact, you've secured this fabulous book as well, which I think for me everybody should have from working as soon as you start working, because who knows how many pensions your mum or your dad had when they started work, how many different pensions they set up. Digital accounts now, it's not just looking for letters anymore, is it? You might need emails off a tablet and you have no idea what the password is, or there might be really personal photographs that you know are on your dad's or your mum's phone and you can't get onto that phone. All of that information is in that one book. So again, it's peace of mind for your family when you pass that they know everything, but it's nice to do. I think it makes you appreciate actually what you do have. You might be sat at home thinking, well, I haven't got a lot, but actually when you write it down on paper, you have so much.
And everything's in one place, so when you do pass.
And sometimes things can be lost, can't they? Like pensions, you hear of it so often, sort of billions of pounds sat there, should be with somebody, someone's passed, but nobody knew that pension was there. It's all written in that book.
We've talked about wills. We're going to talk more detail now about lasting power of attorney for you. If you do want to take advantage of those offers, though, remember it's only until the close of business Friday.
And so easy to get in contact as well. If you want to get in contact, so simple. You can you don't have to talk to anybody if you don't want to, either go onto the website simplerlaw.co.uk/shop on TV and just fill in your details. That's you've secured the prices. You can jump on the phones. There's a great team on the phones. I know the phones are always busy, but they will get to you. And if perhaps you've got a couple of questions you want to ask, you could, but really, again, you don't need any information. It's just to know that you want to secure the prices for the will or lasting power of attorney, or both.
And they are there right now, right through till the end of the show. So get on the phone right now if you so wish. 0333 600 2600. But the busiest way always on this shows, and same again today, is if you want to text, and you just text the word will, WILL, to 666 777. Your phone's probably right there in the palm of your hand whilst you're watching. You don't have to speak to anyone. The team will get back to you and they'll secure the appointment around your schedule. I think that's something else that you made a good point of. If you're going away on holiday or you don't want to do it for 2 or 3 weeks, you can do it around your schedule.
We often put things off, don't we, for whatever reason, or we're going away, or, it's Christmas, or it's,
there's always an
it's
excuse.
Spring, or, it's summer holiday. There's always a reason not to do things. And if you are sat there thinking, well, we're away for 3 weeks from Wednesday, it doesn't matter. When you talk to the team, say, I can't actually sit down and discuss this until so-and-so, they'll sort that out. What you've done is made sure you've secured those deals with the extra 10% off. You've secured your book. You've done all that. So then you can go on holiday with the peace of mind that as soon as you get back, you're going to sort everything out. It's that first step we put off. And it's such peace of mind when you get something done, even if it's a job around the home. My mum's patio for years, it was treacherous. The winter, I was worried to death she was going to trip. It was all uneven. It was horrendous. And we didn't not do it because we didn't have the money to get it done or we didn't have the time to get it. We just never did that first thing of actually ringing someone to come around and give us a price and us say, oh, yes, could you do it? And when it was done, it was so easy and it was such a relief. And you'll be the same whether you're doing the will or lasting power of attorney.
That weight lifted.
It's just that first step and you've done it. And Simpler Law do everything else. They make it, all you need to do is sit down and have a nice little conversation with them and the job's done.
Now we are going to talk about lasting power of attorney. If you've heard of the term but you're not quite sure what it means, we'll get Emma to explain it, because when it comes to lasting power of attorney, I think a lot of people have heard of it, but they're not quite sure what it is.
Then probably not. But what they are is they're documents that hopefully you should really put in place today. And these are the what if. So just in case you was to lose capacity ever.
And by that you mean if someone becomes ill, has an accident?
So if they have, unfortunately an accident or again...
So many terrible illnesses, aren't there?
Yeah, dementia is really prevalent.
Yeah. That's a really big one, isn't it? So what it is on the document, you are basically classed as a donor, and then you choose somebody that you truly trust, and they're classed as an attorney. So basically what it does is you are giving your powers to the attorney so they can, in the eyes of the institute we call it, they are you.
So
they can continue to do your day-to-day stuff.
Okay.
Which I know lots of us will think, again, it's a bit like a will. We think, I've told everybody I want what to happen. They know, my family know, but it doesn't happen unless you've written it down legally binding. And I think you're the same. You might be already looking after your mum or your dad or your partner, and you think, well, if they were really poorly, I'd still be able to look after them. Surely I'd still be able to pay their bills. But actually, Emma, that's not. And when you really think about it, because I thought, of course, I'll be able to look after mum, but I couldn't go in her bank now and get money out. I couldn't, if I ring to change something like a mobile phone account, they want to talk to mum, then they're not. No one's going to deal with me, are they?
No, that's it. Because if you're not the account holder, then for data protection and everything like that, it's a no-go, isn't it? I couldn't go into my husband's bank account whilst he's got capacity, let alone when he's vulnerable, when he hasn't got capacity, and try and draw money out. They just wouldn't even do that.
And even if you had a joint account, that can be affected, can't it, if you haven't got...
They could freeze it, which is then technically freezing your own money at the same time.
Of course.
So when we first came, because we went to Simpler Law for mum's lasting power of attorney, and it was the financial side.
And we should look at all the different things that you can do.
Because there's a lot of things when we see the list that you can do with the property and fares, that all of those things we wouldn't have any control over unless we had lasting power of attorney.
Without this document, no, you wouldn't be able to do the simplest of things. So things like pensions, claim your pensions or benefits or allowances, which obviously paying household bills. What a simple thing to do. Dealing with bank accounts, opening, closing, that sort of thing, even down to, your property. If you own a property, could you sell? Could you,
Well, you might need to sell to look after your loved one to go into a home. You might need the money, but you wouldn't be able to.
You wouldn't be able to without this document. No.
The clarity's right at the bottom of the screen there. It really explains everything. Essentially, you choose someone you trust to manage your affairs, and in the eyes of the institutions and companies that they deal with, they become you. It's really straightforward, that. It really clears it up.
And it can be, it's somebody you trust. It can be a friend, it can be a family member. You know, it can be a couple of people. You're just allowing someone that you truly trust to make sure you're looked after if the worst does happen. And when we went to do Mum's lasting power of attorney, we did it originally for your mum because we heard of a story when it was just too late. You know, they hadn't done it and they hadn't got that control. But when we sat down and chatted with you, I didn't realise there were two types of lasting power of attorney. So as soon as you told me about the second, which is like the health side to things, I was like to Mum, well, we've got to do both because they're both well, I think the health to me was more important than anything.
They are both truly, truly important. And obviously with the health side of it, that's the more emotional side. That's, you know, how is your loved one going to be looked after? Which, you know, obviously is a very important thing.
And so many things, once again, when it comes to health and welfare. We'll pop some details on the screen for you. All of these things that you see here, that real personal connection, like we said.
Very personal. So we're going to decide, you know, you're able to then decide on behalf of your loved one where they're going to live, what kind of care are they going to receive, even down to daily routines and, you know, what they're going to eat and where. You can even manage their medication and what other sort of, you know, treatments they're going to get.
Those things, I think all of those things so important, and the thing we did wrong really, and we sit here and we've got to do our lasting power of attorney, which is ridiculous that we haven't. It's absolutely bonkers.
Shame on
but I know, shame on you.
Really does.
Shame on us.
You'll be
And
messaging
honestly,
at the end of the show.
we have got to do it. It's with Mum, you know, we did it later in life because you think, and you've got to do it now.
Yeah.
My friend had a terrible accident in her 40s, and if there hadn't been a lasting power of attorney, the important things she's vegetarian. She had a certain way of dressing. She likes her nails polished. You know, there's so many really important. You'd be devastated if you went into a home, and a loved one was there wearing clothes you know they would have absolutely hated. Their hair hadn't been done, and you know they would have had their hair done every week.
These are all things we take for granted. We get up in the morning, throw the covers back, we get on with our day, we go and get our nails done, we go and get our hair done, we put our makeup on, we do whatever we want to do. But they're really, really important to us. They make you. And your loved ones are going to want to be able to do that. I know I would for my loved ones. I'd want to make sure they're done up how they want to.
Break your heart, wouldn't it? If you know all those things that were so important to them at a time that is so horrible anyhow, that those things aren't happening.
Yeah, and diet especially, as you say, like vegetarian is a massive thing as well. So anything like that, it just makes it personal. And what's already a really difficult time, it just allows your loved ones to be able to do something for you that they wouldn't be able to.
If you haven't got lasting power of attorney, so what happens then?
It's too late, unfortunately. Once you've lost capacity to put power of attorney in place. No. So you can't nominate, well, after you've lost your capacity. So at that point, you can't put anything in place. So the only route your family can go down is what's called the court of protection. So they have to apply to the courts on your behalf and essentially prove themselves that they've got your best interests at heart to essentially become your attorney at that point.
And this is massively
and this could be
expensive.
anybody that comes forward, so it might not be the right person
you'd have chosen. Exactly.
But if you know you are the right person, you've actually got to find this money, because you can't take this money from the person you want to care for, because you're out of control.
Yeah.
So you've got to find this money to prove that you're the right person.
Yeah, so this is your own money that you'd have to find. This if you do it yourself as well. This is without professional help. So this is on your own. So
and it's a lot of paperwork, isn't it?
It's a lot of paperwork, but you've got the initial application fee there, £421 straight away. Your assessment fee is £100. You've got your hearing fee there as well, but that supervision fee that you can see there, £320, that's annually. So that's ongoing. So although you've got the fee there of just over £1,000 to do it yourself, you've then got that annual ongoing fee, which is actually monitored as well by the courts. So it's actually really stricter than it would be if you had your own powers of attorney. You've got the freedom at that point to act, because you know the donor, you have said that you trust this person, and they can go and actually act for you freely. Through the court, you actually got to prove yourself. You may not actually even be accepted once you've done all of this.
Oh God!
As a worst case scenario. And not only that, you're then monitored.
Right.
And then, you've got the cost and the time. So at the minute, the Court of Protection is taking averagely about a year to go through. And that's average. I've seen longer than that.
So for a year, you're in limbo. But couldn't in that year you could actually lose your loved one?
Yeah, worst case.
And you've wasted all that time you'd rather have been sat next to them,
Yeah.
looking after them.
All
caring
it would
for
have
them.
taken was for your loved one to pick up the phone, put powers of attorney in place, and all of that would have been removed. So it's already a really difficult time because someone that you care about is unwell, but not only that, you're having to spend all of your time alongside your normal daily routine, so you're still probably
that's
working.
it.
You know, these things
Life
don't
doesn't stop, does
You
it?
have to, yeah.
Exactly right. So you're doing all of that when it could have all been avoided by putting a power of attorney in place. But at that point, there's no other option. It's what we call the too late phone calls.
Yeah.
When, unfortunately, someone hasn't put it in place or they have been diagnosed at that point with dementia, for example.
It's too late.
It's too late.
And
You've
once
only got that
we
court
have put it in
process.
place, Emma, is there anything, is there a registration?
There is. So each document will need registering with the Office of Public Guardian.
Okay.
So it's best to do that straight away, absolutely straight away. And that's £82 per document. But you can, depending on your circumstances, it could be £41 or even free.
Right.
But it is per document that.
So you
When
can
you
do it.
compare that to the Court of Protection.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Absolutely
Yeah.
nothing.
No
Still
comparison.
nothing.
Yeah.
No.
And then it's done. It's such a peace of mind. Once we'd done mums, it was like, and then we just forgot it. We've forgotten about it. I don't think
That's
about it
the-
until we sit down and
yeah.
chat about it now, because it's not an insurance, but in a way you think it is it kind of.
Similar, yeah. We call it a what-if document, but
Yeah.
you know, we all insure appliances.
Everything.
You've said your mum's dishwasher, but I'm sure we insure phones.
Yeah.
You know, we
The
insure
boiler man's
pets,
coming tomorrow.
That's it,
boilers.
yeah.
Some people insure furniture.
Yeah.
You know, all these things that are material, but when it comes to our family, all it takes is putting a document in
Ourselves,
place.
yeah.
Yeah, if we had a crystal ball, we'd all put these
You'd do it
documents in place
instantly,
straight
wouldn't you?
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, because once they're done, that's it. They last you for life.
You
Once
don't know
it's
what's
done,
round the
put it in a
corner.
drawer.
You don't.
You don't.
But tomorrow is never promised, and it's so important to get documents like this in place
Massively.
for yourself, but also for your loved ones, for so many reasons. And again, incredible prices tonight, whether you want to do the will, whether you want to do the lasting of power of attorney on its own, or whether you want to do them jointly together
Yeah,
as
do it
well.
together. We'll do the offers again for you, then we'll tell you how easy it is to get in touch. So the family estate and will, if you want to write your own will, to do it for less than £90, I think is spectacular.
You just would think it would be so much more than that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's just taking that first step tonight as well. So getting that ball in motion and taking that first step. Don't let life get in the way tomorrow. Do it right now. £89 to write a will, or £22.25 on your first of 4 interest-free payments.
That's
that you can
nothing,
see
is
there.
it?
It really is.
When you think about what you spend, you pop into the shop to get a bottle of, well, they're not bottles of milk anymore, are
Well,
they?
they are. Some places
They're
are.
like, I don't know what you call them.
Bottle of wine.
When I used to deliver it, it was a bottle. So, but you can see here, you have got such an incredible. You pop in that shop, don't you, for that pint of milk, and you end up spending £40, don't you, or
Yeah.
£50, and you're like, what have I bought? But even what you spend on coffee, £22.25 is nothing, and it's money so well spent. Remember, if you don't have a legally binding will written down, it doesn't matter who you've told, it doesn't matter what you've done, or or whether you think it will definitely go to. Obviously, the government will falls in place if you haven't got a legally binding will, and it's not right for anyone.
Next, you've got the lasting power of attorney that we were just talking about. If you want to put that in place, a suggested price of $349, again, I think is a great price. The offer price less than $200, but with the extra 10% off that you've got right now, it comes down to £179. If you want to spread those costs, $44.75 on your first of 4 interest-free payments. But remember, these prices only until the close of business on Friday. So our advice, get in touch right now, and we'll show you how to get in touch in just a moment.
And all you're doing is securing these prices. So you might have already secured the price, and now you've listened to lasting power of attorney. You think, oh, I only mentioned I wanted the will. It doesn't matter. As long as you've secured the deals, whatever you decide to take, if you think, well, I do want the will and lasting power of attorney, you can get that deal as well, because you've secured every price on that page. And you can see your saving there is incredible. Should be £598. It normally would be with us when we have a special on a show, $269, but you have got that extra 10% off. Remember, these prices only till close of business on Friday. £242 is your price, but you split that with 4 payments of £60.50. And again, think what you spend on a takeaway. Remember, if you are one of the first 250 clients, to actually secure these deals, you'll get that book as well, which is What My Family Should Know. And that's a book with all vital information that is what your family will need when you do pass. It's information they'll be hunting for. And originally you'll be hunting in all the secret places, in the shoebox and, you know, where all those important things are. But now it's more complicated than that because everything is quite digital and you've got no clue at all how many jobs your mum had or your dad had, how many pensions they've got, or you need to get on their tablet, you need to get an email. Do you know what their PIN is? Probably not. Or all those photos you took of their last birthday, it's all on their phone. Can you get onto that phone to get those photographs? All that information is in there. And it's such a great book. I think everybody from working age should have that book. But it's such a great book to actually sit down and write everything in because it really makes you realise what you do have and, you know, and make you realise what is important and where you want those things to go.
And the first 250 to secure the appointment.
Another reason to do it now.
We'll get it, so do it right now. If you're thinking, how do I get in touch? Let's show you just how easy it is to get in touch. You can go directly to Simpler Law, simplerlaw.co.uk/shop on TV will take you through to those exclusive offers that we just talked about.
The teams are still there on the phones. I know they've been busy, but you can get onto the phone. Perhaps you've got a couple of questions to ask, but remember, no details needed tonight. All you need to know is you want to do the will, you want to do the lasting power, you want to secure those prices. So jump onto the phone. It's 0333 600 2600. But one of the easiest and always the busiest ways to get in touch. This is so simple. If you know you need to do a will, you want to do a lasting power of attorney, and perhaps you're still thinking, should I do both? Or you just want to secure those deals, you're about to run out to work or you're about to go to bed, where's your phone? Grab it. All you need to write is will and text that to 66777. That is so simple to do. I enter every competition like that, but I never win, but you will win tonight because you've secured all those extra special deals and you've so easily taken the first step, which is the one thing that we are really rubbish at. And once you've taken that first step, everything else is so simple because Simpler Law do everything else for you.
You've started the process. If you've thought about writing a will and you've just never got round to it, the great thing is this is that first step that we've talked about. You can also go through our website, remember, shopontv.co.uk. Scroll down that homepage to our on-screen partners, and there you'll see the Simpler Law logo just there. Click on there. It takes you through to all those exclusive offers with the extra discounts. Remember, close of business Friday, so get in touch right now. It's very, very important. Whichever way you get in touch, if you want to fill in the form there on the website, again, it's really simple and really straightforward. And we should reiterate why it's so important for everyone to have a will.
And don't panic if you've got loads going on and I can't sit down and have a conversation for a couple of, I'm going away for a week next week. Just secure the deals. When you talk to the team, say, well, I'm a bit busy for the next, they'll sort out a day that's right for you when it's right for you. What you're doing is making sure you're holding those prices. But will, like you say, Sean, is so important.
It's so important, Charlotte, I think, for everybody, isn't it? Because everyone's going to need a will.
Everyone's going to need a will. It's just about having your choice written down and knowing that what you want to happen is going to happen. It's the most selfless thing you can do, because once you've got that in place, you know that your family, friends and loved ones are protected.
And if you haven't got it in place, Charlotte, sadly, there is a will. If you haven't written your own legally binding will, doesn't matter how many people you've told that, you know, I want this to happen, doesn't matter whether you're married, doesn't matter whether you're not married, but you've been together 34 years, it doesn't matter. Whatever situation you're in, the government will falls into place, and it's 100 years old, and it's not right.
Years old this
it's not
year.
right for anybody.
No, it's not. No, there's 4 of us around this table right now. We wouldn't have the same will. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't realise that without putting your own legally binding document in place, there is what we call the government will, the rules of intestacy.
This is just a series of yes/no questions, isn't it? So if we use us as an example, the first question is,
are you married or in a civil partnership? Yes or no?
That's a no.
Simple as that. So no. Next question is, do you have children?
That's
yes or
no.
No. Do you have parents?
So Hayley does, but I don't.
So if I passed and it was Sean, so he's got no parents.
So the next question would then be, do you have any brothers or sisters?
So
yes.
Or no? And
so for you, Sean, it would go to siblings.
Yeah. So even though, you know, we've been together 34 years and it's our money, it's gone.
It's not personal
So
at all.
important.
It's yes or no questions. It's not, are you in love? How long have you been
No.
together? Have you got a life together? None of that.
And it doesn't matter if you are married, because you might be sat at home saying, well, we're married, so it'll be okay for us. That's not the case either, especially with the world as it is now, because lots of us are married with children from different partners and things.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
are just a family.
It doesn't provision for that either, because it's only bloodline that it actually provisions for on the government will. So you might be married, have children from previous relationships that you all see as one family unit, but unfortunately, with the rules of intestacy, the first question is, are you married or in a civil partnership? Yes. So if you've got Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Mr. passes away, it all goes over to Mrs. If it is under 322,000, but all over to Mrs. And then if Mrs. passes away without a will, the second question is, do you have any children? Yes or no. That's biological bloodline children. So at that point, Mrs. passes away.
Only goes to
her two biological children, Mr.'s children, completely disinherited. So this is the point where we see families torn apart because that's so much pressure to put on children at an already difficult time. But also, everyone will know that's not what wanted to, you know, Mr. and Mrs. didn't want that to happen. But unfortunately, if you haven't put that will in place, you are literally following a set of rules that is 100 years old, that is yes or no questions. There's nothing else to it. So unfortunately there, you're seeing families torn apart.
And don't be sat at home. Everybody needs a will. This is the thing that's so important. Wouldn't work for us. Wouldn't work for a married couple that got children from different partners. Doesn't even work if you're very much, you know, you're married with children of your own. It's a lot more complicated. The government will doesn't work for anyone. If you're a single person and you pass, again, it goes along the yes/no questions, and it's those situations where you suddenly hear, oh gosh, you know. The couple down the road, they were killed in an accident. Everything went to somebody in Australia. They'd never even met them because it went down the government will.
It's not personal.
Or,
It doesn't include gifts. You might have gifts that you want to leave in there to certain family heirlooms.
And who looks after your children if you both pass?
Very important.
You know,
so
the rules of
many things.
intestacy doesn't cover any of that.
No.
It is literally just a yes/no question.
And for such an incredible price, you could actually get that all sorted. But you do need to do it. Do it now because you'll forget. It's got to be by close of business on Friday. Have a look at the deals because right now, this is what oh my goodness, it's nothing, is it? To make sure what you've worked so hard for actually happens. You don't want to look down and see a family's falling apart or actually someone you didn't want to getting things because the government will said it was right. Now, you would think it would be expensive, but actually even at £249, worth every single penny. But our regular Simple Law deal when they come to shop on TV is £99, but you have got an extra 10% off. So from £249 to £89 right now.
Everything massively reduced, whether it's the lasting power of attorney, the will, or the will and lasting power of attorney, all massively reduced.
Take a quick photo of that. You've got all the details. Remember, the first 250 clients will get that fabulous book. That book always goes, What My Family Should Know. That's you putting all vital information together for your family. So when you do pass, it's just right there, the different pensions and things that you have.
And it's so easy to get in touch as well. Remember, several different ways, whether it's the website, whether it's the phone, or whether it's the texting service, all there for you.
Text Will. It's the easiest way. Text Will, WILL to 66777, or jump onto the phones, or go onto our website, scroll down to the middle, you'll see Simple Law there. Take a photo again of that picture, and then you'll actually have the details on your phone right now. Or just jot down really quickly the phone number. They're there waiting for that call. But please, I would do it now.
Yeah.
Close the business on Friday for the deal, but do it now because you'll forget and you will kick yourself.
We always say, don't let life get in the way. Take that first step right now.
We missed out on a holiday, gone up £2,000.
Let's say a big thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for joining us,
Make sure you
everyone.
get that deal. We'll see you later. See you later.